for what.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! We're in. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
This isn't going live, by the way.
Course,
this is just recording.
Oh, I was like, is this live?
No, it's not live.
Where's the
I was
chat?
thinking about doing live and all that, but I figured just a record. That way I can edit it if need be, and then post it up on YouTube
All right.
and Facebook, most likely. So
Okay.
So yeah, let's go ahead and first of all, since this is my first podcast, I'll introduce myself. My name is Aaron. Since the topic today is gaming, I game on pretty much everything: PC, console, mobile, all of it, tabletop, all of it. I don't really have a preference or anything like that. I love all games. What about you guys?
I'm Maddie. I'm mostly a console player. I have done some PC gaming, like World of Warcraft, the original Warcrafts, and Cat Lady, and a few other Steam games, but Nintendo is really kind of my favorite console, but I'm mostly a Sony, like, PS4 player. This is my husband, Jake.
Hi, I'm Jake. I'm a mix. I mean, grew up PC and console, have a PC and console. So we've got a very wide selection.
Wide selection there, yeah.
We've got that, controller, keyboard, mouse. Doesn't matter to me. I usually tank too because, I mean, it's the easiest, right?
I mean, that's the least wait time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true for queues.
That and healer,
Yeah.
So you do some streaming and stuff like that, right? Do you stream on mainly PC or console?
So it depends because, I mean, different titles are available on different ones, but we've got the capture device set up. So if it's got an HDMI input, it's good to go. That's not on PC.
Sweet. So you stream pretty much everything.
Basically
you're,
anything.
Yeah,
you're a let's play variety.
Yeah, let's
Mostly
dive
Final
in.
Fantasy. Mostly Final Fantasy 14, but, we play all sorts of stuff, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's my MMO of choice, so.
Can't go wrong.
Right?
Nah.
Sorry, no.
Oh, no.
That is mine.
Starting off with the first debate.
Right.
That actually goes into good play. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was console wars. The big divide between PC and console. Why do you guys think that is so prevalent in today's society?
I think it's gatekeeping.
Gatekeeping?
Gatekeeping, yeah. I think that, I don't know, there's an elitist aspect to it, which I think comes hand in hand with any game, because a lot of the time you're trying to be the best. You're going to get the best gear, you want to be the number one player, but I think that it completely defeats the purpose of video games. I think the console wars, like PC or Nintendo or Xbox versus PS4, I think it's so dumb. I'm here for the games, my man. I'm just here for the games.
I agree. Jay, do you have anything to
Oh,
put
no,
in
most
on that one?
definitely.
Or?
It's definitely, I think that exclusivity is how it sells, but all in all, most players just want to play games together.
Yeah. Would you guys prefer a more solidified platform?
Yes.
Like a more monopolized platform, like one single platform that plays everything.
Well, as I see it, I think everything's going to eventually just be PC, because the advance of technology as it is now, I mean, our phones are now computers, and each time a console upgrades, it has more access to, online functionality. Like, God, you can get on the internet, you've got YouTube, you've got all sorts of stuff on your console now. I think it's all just, everything's going to be computers. And then you'll just
different parts of it.
Yeah,
maybe,
it's kind of like how the Switch is handling it right now.
Fair enough.
They're opening it to all sorts of developers. So,
yeah,
there's Dark Souls.
Here's a small little. Well, I mean, the Steam box was kind of something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where you basically are able to play all of your Steam games off of your TV.
Off of your TV with, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I think eventually, Switch is probably the first that's doing that. And I think that
first
it's
doing
gonna,
it well, at least.
At least that's
tried.
true. The Wii U tried, but the Wii U did not have any good titles for 2 years after its release.
It had Skyward Sword, and that's about it.
And I'm not actually that big of a fan of Skyward Sword.
But Skyward Sword, which was their leader when it came out, still came out on Wii.
Yeah, still came out on Wii, which did fantastically on the Wii. The Wii did fantastic. Yeah. And the Switch has now finally surpassed the Wii sales, which I think is absolutely deserved.
What do you guys think of the new Switch Lite?
Oh, I think it's one.
I think it's fantastic. Yeah.
I think it's an amazing thing and everything like that, but they do definitely have some bugs that they got to.
I think it's normal. I mean, the same what happened with the 2DS when they made the 2DS. There was all sorts of screen issues with it.
There was one. I was reading an article earlier today. It was actually someone complaining because their Switch Lite said, "Hey, I can't detect the Joy-Cons. Please remove them."
Oh.
And you can't really remove them from
You
the Switch
can't.
Lite, so
That is a little weird. That is a little weird. Well, then, of course, that's going to be a wiring issue.
it has to be.
It has
easily.
to be.
Well, they had that. They also had that hard hack that you could do with Switches when it first came out.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it seems like they definitely got to get their hardware a little bit more in line.
I mean, it's Nintendo.
They're doing fantastic right now.
As far as like their consoles go, I think that they have way less problems. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
with the Xbox 360, the red circle of death was so terrible.
I had a 360. And
Yeah.
the thing is most of the fixes didn't even work.
No, most of the fixes didn't even work.
I look like an idiot wrapping a hot towel around my damn 360.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Hoping it would work.
And I think that's the
No.
main problem with like Sony and Xbox is that their consoles aren't built to surpass the time. Like Nintendo, for instance, you can still play my Nintendo 64. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
still have my Nintendo 64.
Same. I have
My
a
original copy
64
of
in the other room.
Ocarina of Time and
Right.
Mario 64 and stuff,
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
it's
can
amazing.
still play those. And that is what I really want out of a console. So that's really my only issue I would have with
Yeah.
consoles.
But I mean, emulation is huge
Mhm.
nowadays too.
Yes,
you can
emulation
easily
is.
Raspberry Pi a little
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
The full
chipboard to
archive.
make it work for every single game.
Yeah,
and
that
stuff,
is
you know.
true. That is
I mean,
true.
that's basically what these mini consoles are that are coming
Yeah.
out. So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
little Raspberry Pi emulators.
And I
That's
love
it.
them, yeah. We
mean,
we
they're
have
amazing,
tons of them. And then they've got the emulators on the Switch now,
Mhm.
too, which has been...
Oh yeah, they just opened up the entire SNES library.
We've been
Well,
playing...
it came out
yeah.
with
Well,
like 20
wow.
titles right now, but they were amazing in releasing great titles like Link to the Past, Super
Yeah, I saw
Mario
that
World, Yoshi's Island,
that made me
F-Zero.
almost that made me almost want to get the Switch thing.
We have it. I
online-
mean, we've had it.
Oh
we've
yeah,
had it
the
this whole
Switch
time.
online.
thing.
Yeah.
We got
just
it.
for Link to the Past.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's so
it's
great.
worth it.
I love Link to the Past. That was my first Zelda game I ever played.
Oh man, see, and I was.
Mine was Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina was what made me fall in
I
love
was
with
7.
Zelda, but it wasn't the first one I played.
Which came out first, Ocarina or Majora?
Ocarina.
Okay,
Majora
then
is direct.
Then that
Direct
is the one
sequel.
that I played
Sequel.
first too, is Ocarina.
Yep.
No,
Yeah,
I've,
Majora
It was the
was
first game I
dark.
actually beat by myself.
I lied. I used to play the Zelda on the original Nintendo.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
the one I grew up
That's
on.
the one he
Never,
grew up
I was
on.
like, oh wait, never mind. Flashback child.
Never mind.
No,
Pixels.
the Legend of Zelda, and then
The
The
original.
Adventures
one,
of Link came
Yeah.
too, and you're like, what
Yeah.
is this?
Have you played the remake yet on that one?
The
Adventures of Link?
No.
No,
That's
it
Link's
was
Awakening.
It's Link's Awakening,
never
yeah.
mind.
no,
It's my bad.
no, Link's Awakening is great is because it was very Mario themed for Legend of Zelda. It had
Gotcha.
Yoshi elements, it had the chain chomp, things like that.
Mhm.
So this new style they did is just 3D, it's updated, it's fresh, and
Yeah, I think it was
selling
really
their
fun.
IPs all over again. But
Yeah.
I'm not even mad.
Well, that's like the Skyrim thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Skyrim gets resold.
well, we
A
put them
million,
in
different
yeah,
times,
8
yeah.
different times.
I'm guilty of owning it 5 different times.
That's insane.
I think I've owned it on 360, PlayStation 3, Xbox, Switch, and PC.
Yeah, but it's still one of those games that people are still finding new things.
Oh, it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
it has held
absolutely.
up to the test of time. That's for damn sure.
Well, yeah, because it was what 2011, November 11th,
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something
came
insane
out.
like that, yeah.
So it's been 8 years almost.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
The only game I've ever bought more than once was A Night in the Woods.
Because you've
When
got
did
that on
Skyrim come out?
PlayStation.
Switch
and-
and the computer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, November 11th, 2011.
Yeah.
Good call there.
Jake knows his
11,
titles.
11.
Yeah, I was like,
Well, they did a thing too when it first came out.
If you named
someone
your
said if
kid-
you named your kid
Yeah.
Dopamine, that you'd get free Bethesda stuff for the rest of life. Someone did.
Yeah, someone did
Yeah.
it. Mm-hmm.
It's. I feel sorry
The
for that
things
kid.
that people name their kids.
It's just Dragonborn.
So a little bit backwards to the console wars thing. I mean, I love your guys' headspace on that one. I wholeheartedly agree. Another aspect of that is something where PC and console gamers alike kind of shit on people for mobile gaming. Do you think that's going to become really prevalent?
I mean, I like some mobile games. Like, I am all about, like, the collecting kind of games.
Mhm.
Like, no, not necessarily gacha, because, like, those are terrible.
Oh, the gotcha games. They
They're
hurt, but they
terrible.
feel so good.
Yeah, I've been playing this cat
Go for
tower
that
game.
S-class weapon or something and
And I
you
can't
roll
stop.
for it. Oh, man.
I can't stop
It's
playing
great.
this cat. I want to see all the cats. So, I don't know. I think I don't know, like there's Tetris and like those really
yeah.
basic old.
I mean, they started
school
doing
video
emulation
games.
on the iOS and
Yeah,
Play Store as
exactly.
well. Like
Yeah.
you can get original Super Mario on them right now.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Taking Minecraft
taking
and-
that a step even further now, I don't know specifically with Android, they've probably been able to do it forever. iOS 13 came out, so you can finally pair your Bluetooth controllers from PlayStation and Xbox to your phone.
Yeah, you
So-
can literally use a controller on your
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah,
I mean, they had for Android ones that came out that were like specific for phone gaming.
Yeah.
That was like a controller, and it had
the
a
little mount.
like a mount for your
Yeah.
phone, or you put your phone inside the mount, and then you had a controller.
Well,
and you
yeah,
could
and
move
then
around
they
with
have
it.
VR
Oh yeah,
for
it's nuts.
phones now too. So I don't know. Like I said, I think everything's just going to convert to computers. It's all just going to be computers.
It's just gonna.
and then we're all going to have a
onto
master,
what that is. Yeah.
like I don't know. It's going to be kind of like Steam, and I think probably Steam will do really, really well in that situation.
Mhm.
I think that their business is just going to skyrocket once everything can have access to downloading third-party.
IPs and all
Like,
that.
yeah.
Well, to build on that, what do you guys think of the new wars that are coming out recently? The launcher wars. Rockstar just released theirs. The whole
Oh,
Epic
yeah.
Store thing
That's
with Borderlands
right.
3.
Oh,
You know, with the Borderlands 3 exclusivity on Epic Store for 6 months, and Steam's kind of shitting on it.
well, I've got
they've
my
even
own
gone-
issues with Borderlands 3.
Yeah, but they've even gone into like past games,
Sure.
like not even that
Well, yeah,
IP
they've
title,
removed
and then just
things
removed.
from
It
Yeah.
got
stores.
it got attacked
Yeah.
even on release date. I mean, it's been crazy. What do you guys think about that? Why is that so prevalent especially when all these launchers, Cthulhu, especially when all of these launchers are a majority free to download and use.
Yeah, I think
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a huge part of it is that people want to own the titles they're releasing. They don't want a third-party market, which is another step they have to take to prevent piracy. There's all these reasons to have your own separate store, but the problem is you're cluttering other people's computers with your launcher. They want one place to go get things. We already almost have that. But with the release of the Epic Store, Rockstars, you've got Origin.
I mean, I saw this coming
a whole
with
bunch
the
of them.
streaming. It's the
Oh,
same
yeah,
with like
streaming's gotten
streaming anything.
huge
I mean, at
because
first
of
it was
that
like Netflix, and you're like, oh my god, and then
It
you
was
could
just
stream
Netflix.
YouTube, and
And
now
then
there's
Hulu.
Hulu, and now Disney's making their own, and
HBO
Fox has their
and-
own, and like DirecTV has
I mean,
their
technically,
own.
the Fox one is now Disney Plus too. Because
True.
they're owned.
Good point.
But,
Yeah,
I mean-
that's true. But they're gonna merge. Like so, like I saw this happening. But this is the problem too. This is why I think that the exchange of this kind of information should necessarily be free. I think that the internet should be free.
I completely agree with that statement. The only downside is with like games and stuff like
Yeah.
that. These developers and everything need their compensation,
Exactly.
especially for like the stuff that they build and slave over months and months and months,
Yeah.
and sometimes years upon years.
Yeah, I mean, I
building,
think
so-
really what would solve that is people. I don't know, Kickstarters. You get your funding from
Kickstarter
Kickstarters.
funding is amazing.
And I think that that's really the best way to solve that, because ultimately, hey, I got it made. I got paid to get this made. I invested my time. This is the chunk of money that I made for that. Everybody can now play it.
Yeah,
That's kinda how I feel like
what
it
was
should
It
be.
was Pillars of Eternity, entirely a Kickstarter
Yeah.
game, entirely made off
yeah.
of Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So many things can be done off of Kickstarter.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a musician. Her name's Amanda Palmer. She's from the Dresden Dolls.
Yeah. The Dresden Dolls. That's right.
She just did her own like Kickstarter. She had the biggest funded Kickstarter ever
I think that's so
for
freaking
music.
cool.
It was insane.
They're really
Um,
talented. So.
They are. They really are. But like with her, it was even, you know, she was with a label and everything like that. And this label said that her music was failing because they only had 25,000 copies sold.
But I mean, that's the thing
Yeah,
though,
I
is
know.
that people don't.
When she did
Buy
her
things
Kickstarter that got
anymore.
1.3 million or whatever,
Mhm.
Yeah.
she had 24,000 backers. 24,000 something. It
Exactly.
was almost 25,000. But the thing
Yeah.
is the exact same number where the label was saying that she was failing, whereas she
Yeah.
went out there and proved them damn wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
But we saw this coming. We saw this coming with the age of technology changing. I mean, ultimately, we had floppy disks. We have CDs. We have USBs now.
Well, you can get now a 2 terabyte card.
That's this big.
Tiny little
And
thing.
everybody streams now because
Oh, yeah.
I mean our phones are they're computers now, so Spotify. So I think that's really the problem. We have to figure out how to give creators compensation fairly while also having the free exchange of information kind of thing. I do think that, as creators, they do deserve compensation, but I don't know. I feel like people aren't buying hard copies anymore. They're pirating everything now. Everything is mirrored,
Yeah, well, I mean, heck, there was actually, it was Amanda Palmer's TED Talk. I was watching that a few days ago. She said the same thing kind of about piracy. Someone went up to her after a concert and said, "Here's $10. I accidentally burned your songs off of a friend's CD. You know what I mean? I burned it off of a friend's CD. Here's your compensation." She does that a lot now.
Yeah, isn't
like
that fascinating?
Those pirates and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's
ease of access.
Yeah, it's super
not even
easy
that they
access.
don't want to pay for the product or something like that. It's not readily available to them, and they want to support it. And most people do later on. They'll buy a key for it.
Try,
yeah. Like something that I truly, truly value, I will put money to it. But I want to try it first, maybe.
I know.
Like,
what happened to demos? Like
Yeah.
game demos were the shit,
yeah.
man.
And like a
Now
lot
you
of
can
demos
only
don't
have
even
to go. Yeah,
have
you have
the
to go
gameplay in
to. You have to go to GameStop nowadays, and it's like
Oh, I know.
only 5 of their games are demoed and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not even everything coming out.
Well, I mean,
It's horrible.
and like the only like demo that I really loved was PT, and that got like
I
total
love it.
crash and burn, like total
Yeah,
crash
I mean,
and burn.
on
Kojima, I
my
understand.
channel, on my channel, I have I have it on my computer too, but on my channel I have a Let's Play of me going through PT.
PT is so good.
It was a remake of PT. It wasn't Kojima's.
Oh, the
PT.
one in the Unreal Engine without
The Unreal.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was so
They do it so
creepy.
well.
Like
That was
just their
so
playable
good.
trailer has influenced so many things because I
Oh, yeah.
love horror video games, so I'm constantly reading about them, learning about the releases. Cannot wait for the next Last of Us.
Right.
It's influenced so much, so I'm sad to see that it wasn't actually realized, but it did what I think its purpose was, and it was to change the way that horror works. Like Layers of Fear, for instance. Layers of Fear, it's very Amnesia-esque, and that's kind of what I miss about those types of horror games.
When I
is that you
played
don't get that
PT,
a lot.
it took me back to the days of the original Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Legit walking around and not being able to see shit, and just being like, "What's gonna jump out at me?"
Right?
And then you just hear something, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
It's a huge important element to these kind of games
Oh, it's
because I want to say about 2010, 2011, it just became jump scares. It was jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. This is how we
jump
get
scares and gore.
This is
Seriously,
how
that
we
was
get
all
scared.
it was.
It was visuals.
Like that's
But
not
the
scary
games
to me.
that get to you, that scare you, use you against you. It's,
Oh, yeah.
You don't see anything. You hear things. You're wondering. You're doubting
Yeah.
yourself. You go, "Is this the developer like trying to
Right.
scare me? Is this going to be it?" And it's not. And every corner you take, you're building yourself up. You're like, "Here's this jump scare," and it's not coming. And
Right.
That's what starts driving you
You
insane.
question yourself,
Yes, exactly.
And so
You
it's
start
refreshing
to
see
It's all
that
about
start to think it's
atmosphere.
coming, and then it
Yeah,
doesn't.
and it's refreshing to see that
Oh,
come
God.
back with Layers of Fear and things
Well,
like
because
that.
like PT, I think I got down like 10 levels.
Yeah.
Like down in the hotel
And you're
before
like-
anything started happening, and you're like, seriously, what the hell?
When does it come?
It was
It was a horrible Let's Play because I
the
had to be quiet
refrigerator.
the whole time.
It's the refrigerator with blood.
Oh, God.
I
I
think
didn't
that
even
was
get that
my
far.
Oh, it is.
I didn't get that far.
It is
After the
very
baby showed up
interesting.
in the sink,
Yeah.
I got like 2 levels down, and I was so freaked out at that point. I hid myself in a corner and kept looking back and forth
Yeah.
until the chick jumped out at me. I
That's
was like,
so
"Son
funny.
of a bitch!"
You're waiting for that voice.
Yeah,
to, like, turn
it was
around,
nuts.
and you're like,
And
no.
you're like, no, I don't
Well,
want to do it.
that's exactly what happened. Was I
Yep.
was
The
going
radio
through.
tells you.
The radio said turn around, and so I stopped. I turned around, I was looking,
And then you
and I
die.
stayed there too damn long.
Yep. Yep.
I was like, wait, did the radio just say something? Shit, run!
I love that. And see, this is the same problem as like horror films too.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that everybody's relying so much on visuals and like graphics and like look at this.
It's all about gore nowadays. I don't think
It's true.
To be completely honest, I don't think I've seen a horror movie that's like after I go back and like think about it that has actually scared me.
Babadook
Like
did.
to this day, I don't think I've seen one.
Babadook did until the very end when it makes the dinosaur sound. It's
Yeah.
Until that point, Babadook was fantastic. One of the best horror movies I have ever seen, ever.
Yeah.
And I felt like a lot of other horror films had that potential. Like Jeepers Creepers, for the first 5 minutes of that film, is fantastic. The
Yeah,
minute
I mean,
he's
yeah,
out of the
they're-
It
car.
got so repetitive.
Well, the
did.
minute he's out of the
It
car
did.
and you see him, like
And
a
you're like,
physical
well-
being, you lose the illusion.
You lose it.
So and it's
Illusion's
all about
gone.
what you don't see.
I think
That's so good about those games.
my favorite ones Actually, I take my statement back. There has been a couple that have actually truly creeped me out, and they're not big in gore. They're not big in all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's the strangers.
Oh
Because
yeah,
that
the
shit could happen.
strangers. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yo, that shit scared the hell out of me. I was like, that shit could happen tomorrow if someone would fucking just snap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's scary.
There's that level of trust with the people around you where you're
You know
like,
what's
you don't kill me,
You're
I
not
won't
going.
kill you.
You're not going to come to
Right?
my house
Right.
with a mask on and a butcher
Right?
knife,
I know.
right?
You know what's becoming a horror movie?
Hmm.
Idiocracy.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started.
Horror thriller.
Yeah, like there was
Oh,
it was
man.
raining really bad this morning, and the lightning in the sky was it's like I have never seen it like that. Instead of like going down, it was going sideways, and I'm like, oh, it's just the universe finally collapsing.
Why not?
Here we go.
This form of existing has been awfully tiresome.
Yeah, right.
Let's change it up.
It's time.
So, I mean, to reiterate a little bit, we went through
Quite
a
a
little
bit
bit of
there.
the launcher wars, and eventually got into horror movies.
Horror in general.
Yeah, I know, right? But no, I completely agree with you guys. The only thing I would say, honestly, is the price of video games. You know what I mean? Like, if we only had one launcher, one console, stuff like that, they're then monopolizing everything, and then
Yeah.
they can set the prices for everything and
And it'd
just
be so much-
skyrocket it.
I think it would
Because
be
the thing
cheaper.
is, I don't think so. I think the people that are doing these things, like,
They want to be paid for their
sadly, like
True.
big Microsoft, big Sony,
Well,
big
that's true.
Nintendo,
Yeah.
they're all
They make
about
their
the
money.
money.
They
They're
make their money
wanting
off
their
of
money,
the
their
consoles.
sales, and everything
Well,
like that.
I mean, Sony is originally
So-
they do televisions,
Yeah.
stereos, they do all these things.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they
Sony
went,
was
oh no, we
multimedia
can make a game
conglomerate.
system too. Here you go.
Well, same with Microsoft.
and for the
you know?
Yeah,
longest time,
Microsoft
both
too.
of them were losing money, and they still
Yeah.
might be. But
Yeah, like
Yeah,
they
but,
don't.
like,
yeah.
it's a market.
That's what causes these prices to be fair and everything like that. That's the sad
Yeah.
part about these things. With it being amazing, it would be amazing to have that fully morally
You're
just
right.
person
Of
in
course,
charge of
yeah.
these companies that were like, okay, this is the only console.
We
this is
want
the
this
only
to be
streaming
affordable,
service.
and we want people to play it.
But it's the guys in suits that are up around a table
The
that
businessmen,
have never played
yeah.
a game in their life that
It's
are
not
like,
about the
we're
game,
charging
yeah.
$500 a console now.
Yeah,
And it
costs
does
$3
the
to make.
exact same thing that the last generation does. We're just gonna say it has more teraflops.
And
I don't even
except
know what a fucking
it do-
teraflop is.
right.
And shit.
it doesn't read Blu-ray anymore, though.
Exactly. we're gonna take the
What
the
the fuck,
headphone jack out of
PS4?
it.
Yeah.
We're gonna take the headphone jack out.
Oh God.
Oh,
We're gonna-
no.
Hey, I love my iPhone, but yeah, that was some shitty.
Well, it was like
Still though, like it's those kind of decisions.
Yeah.
They aren't down at the gamer level.
No, yeah.
They don't
They're
game
the business
themselves a
level.
lot of the time. They don't realize that what they're doing is affecting an entire generation.
Yeah.
It's affecting a lot of people. So
I mean,
what the fuck,
I
guys?
spent all my life playing video games inside,
right.
and it was easy to do that. But now, if you want to play with other people, especially with me and my husband, we always want to play games together. But in order to do that, we have to buy 2 copies. That's $120. And if you want online play, you have to have whatever online service you need, which is PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live or anything like that. Or you need the internet in general, even to play offline games now.
Well, shit, me and Chandra. You know, Chandra is my wife. Well, soon to be. She will be eventually.
Next year.
You've been being called my wife for 3 years almost. But anywho's it. We have 2 Xboxes with.
Yeah.
I mean, Xbox does it pretty decent to where you can set your home Xbox and everything
the
on
shared
that.
library.
Yeah.
As live and the library. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we can
So we
generally
don't have
kind
to
of
do
do that too.
that bad. PlayStation isn't quite.
I mean, you
have
can
to
do
finesse
it.
with that one. It's
Yeah, it's
But
yeah.
I've had issues with the live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
PSN.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it's
I can share the
DDoS
game.
attacks.
I can share the game, but say I have a physical game, I can't share that.
Exactly,
You know what I
you
mean?
can't share a
If
physical
me and
game.
her want to both play No Man's Sky, I have that physical.
Yeah.
If me and her want to both play Borderlands 3, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's the
physical
thing,
copy
is that
we
the
have.
incentive, especially for people who play together for multiplayer games, the incentive is way low to buy the games as physical copies.
Oh, it is.
Now
It super
everybody
is.
wants the
Digital
digital
copies.
version.
Well, that's why GameStop's going out of business. Even if they
Exactly.
don't want to admit it,
They
they're
are.
going under.
No,
They
I
mean,
are.
they're
They
gonna
have
be
been
all
for
merch
years.
now.
They're going to be shutting down 200 stores. That's the biggest thing in
It's
news
the
about
bi- yeah.
GameStop right now.
Is that they're shutting down most of their locations
Yeah,
now,
a
and
lot of
and I
locations
think
are
that's
going down.
and that's the concern I really have, I guess, for
They're
gaming.
turning it into a gaming lounge. Did you see the
Yeah.
leaked footage for that? They're turning it into a
Fascinating.
gaming lounge, like legit chairs and couches and TVs and shit.
Oh
like,
man.
I hope it does well.
I mean, I can back that up. Where they sell some merch, they have those. I mean, I liked GameStop in the sense, like, I worked at GameStop for a while.
Sure, right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I would
every
religiously
team's
go.
dream.
Right?
I would religiously go to GameStop as
Yeah.
a teenager. That's the place
like,
to go in the mall. You know,
Even as an adult, that's
Yeah.
where you found out about the
the newest
special,
things
not
happening.
even just the games. It's where
Yeah.
you found out about the special edition statues, the special
yeah.
edition like
Yeah.
loot crates for them, and
the
all these
guidebooks.
extra the guidebooks.
Yeah.
Well, guides are kind of meaningless now
Obsolete
too,
now.
because
Yeah,
after
because now
after
everything's
3 days
online.
of something being on
Released.
you have
It's
YouTube
all online
video.
of like a walkthrough.
Here's
You
how
have
I
a-
defeated
no,
100% in the.
5
100%,
minutes, 100%.
what? Like, you have to know some pretty deep coding, but hey,
And you're like, "All
I've
right."
seen those Breath of
Jesus.
the Wild quick plays. They're insane.
Right? I kind of miss going back to the old days with NES, SNES, even PlayStation 1 and 2,
Mhm.
where you'd find these things out and you'd go to school, and those are the people that told you, like, yo, did you know about this secret on level 4?
Oh, they're
What?
just Easter
What?
eggs.
Yeah.
No. If you put your head against this wall and crouch down,
You will see a bonfire.
Yeah.
It's a Dark Souls reference.
There you go. Yeah. It's Dark Souls reference. I have not an opportunity or anything like that, but like
Is this a
not
multi-level
like a
marketing
theory.
campaign?
No,
Sorry,
not like a
just kidding.
theory, but like an idea. What would you guys think about like a mixture? Have you guys seen Ready Player One or read the book?
I have read the book.
Read the book. It's an amazing book.
Mhm.
What would you guys feel if that kind of thing came around, and all of our video games and everything like that was in that kind of world and that kind of setting, where all of the developers and everything like that just added a world or their own thing to that game, and it just constantly expanded.
kept building. I think
You
that would
have
be,
you want to play some Final Fantasy 14. You go to this world, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're automatically in Final Fantasy 14.
Well, that kind of reminds me almost of Futurama's version of the internet.
The internet.
Right,
where
exactly,
Everything's
kind of.
Plug
together,
in.
you have to go to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like even just the travel of going from world to world is its own game in itself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
You
it's
know?
it's just like Star Ocean till the end of time.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, I think of it as like similar to No Man's Sky. All right.
Sure,
I mean,
I
No Man's
love
Sky
No
has
Man's
had its issues and everything like that.
I love it.
I was one of those guys who got tricked in the very beginning. I was the one.
I had
day one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You know, on PC.
I religiously.
But the thing is,
religiously played every single
Oh, yeah.
update.
It was
I haven't
amazing.
played much of this last one because you need so many goddamn batteries to get the generators running. I can't.
I haven't played
can't.
that part.
I can't.
I haven't played that part. We just sit there, we explore, and we build shit.
I
I
have
can't
made
do it, man.
$30 million in 2 days
Yeah.
because I've been farming ancient
Album-
bones.
Oh,
Ancient
ancient
Bones,
bones.
yeah.
I was like album and pearls.
That's how we first started getting that money.
Yeah.
That's how I got my freighter.
yeah.
See, the only thing though with that concept of having all the companies go into one, I don't think will ever happen, or not for a long
Of
time,
course
because
not.
too many people are greedy.
Well, I mean,
Exactly.
there's
Well, I mean,
laws
that
against
comes
monopoly
around with
anyway.
the same argument that I had earlier. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's sadly too many people want money.
With money,
But like
and phones,
that's
yeah.
why I brought up Ready Player One, and with that No Man's Sky as well, because Ready Player
Capitalism.
One, the creator, what was his name? Holloway?
I can't remember.
Something Holloway. I don't remember his first name, but Mr. Holloway from Ready Player One created the game not to make money, to be just amazing in general. I mean, no matter how fucked up it is, that's kind of the sense of SAO as well, sort of.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The first
Woo!
arc is the
That's one
only-
hell of an arc.
The first, the one, the
But
only
you got
one.
to think about it. Like
Well, it's a
he was trapped in there with them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah, he had the bonuses and buffs of being the fucking creator. But
of course.
But he was in there with them.
But he created his own prison.
Yeah, he created his own prison. And the thing is after it had ended, the winner got the seed.
Yeah.
To be able to create a world like that.
Of their own,
that didn't cost anything. It wasn't ran by anything.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, here's a public domain building block for all of these games. Let's see what everyone else can do with it.
What if we did that? What if we did that? One of my biggest philosophies too is like the way to fix our economy and government and all that stuff worldwide is to go a more Star Trek route.
or socialist, you mean?
Money is nothing.
Yeah, money is nothing.
Doesn't exist.
It's meaningless.
It's everybody
is
for everybody.
Well, it's like the pursuit of knowledge,
exploration,
and peace. Comfort, and no matter what. I mean, to thrive. I think that capitalism and the way that how money hungry we are. Sure, I like my cat-shaped salt and pepper shakers. I love them. But the fact of the matter is, people are suffering for the creation of these things, and I'm buying them for $2, and it costs 2 cents to make, and they're paying them 1 cent. This is the problem.
Understand.
This is the problem with a capitalist society, especially when people feel like they're owed something just for creating something. Which I think, in some ways, but it's really about bettering your life. It's about bettering your life and the life around and the people around you.
But
so
the thing
it's about
is,
having faith.
What if, like, say you were a game developer?
Sure.
Okay. What if the government came to you one day and said, "Hey, all we need you to do is develop these games for the entertainment of other people. This is all you need to work on it per week. This many hours, say 40 hours. That's our standard.
And I have
quote,
free healthcare,
but
and I have free housing, and I have free
is
food,
taken care of.
Free
for you.
water,
everything.
Yes, I think
free
ideally
healthcare, food, housing, recreation.
Well, I don't think any of that should cost anything anyway.
But that's what I'm saying. That's how Star Trek's
economy
works.
you have a purpose, and everybody else has a purpose that feeds into your purpose. I think, but that money is easy as that translation.
That takes care of so many of the today's issues. Say homelessness, I don't know, healthcare, gets rid of world hunger. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. I mean, we still have to figure out the population control thing. But,
and of course, there's always how much do you want the government involved in your life?
Star Trek had that kind of solved with the food synthesizer and all that stuff. But I mean, that's sci-fi. You know what I mean? Like, I would love for that kind of shit to be.
So I'm an artist,
nowadays, but
I create things.
Yeah.
The main reason I sell them is so that I can afford to continue to do it.
Yeah, you talk to any artist, that's more or less what they're doing. You know
it's not.
Give me a healthy living to be able to continue to do this.
Well, it's not even a living though. It's more even like
cool. I got $20.
This is my hobby. I'm okay at it.
Yeah.
Here, I sold this piece I worked on, and now I can buy more materials to further my hobby.
Yeah.
And
or
even if it's not even a hobby for them, it's their work, their entire life's work.
Then you know what I mean? Of course, they're gonna keep asking.
Yeah,
of course. But like, if their entire life's work and they weren't getting paid for it and everything like that, they'd eventually hate it.
It's not work.
Then it's not. Yeah, exactly.
It's not something that's driven by passion. It's driven by necessity.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because the thing is in the end, they still need to be taken care of. In any regard of whatever that sense is, they still need to get taken care of in the long run.
Right. I think the real problem is the drive for things.
People
agree. Just want things.
Greed.
I mean, sure. I'm guilty of that.
Everybody is.
I think everybody is, especially as Americans.
Right. We're bad.
Look, my closet is so full. I just want clothes all the time.
Right.
And and I hoard animals too. I want them. and I think that's really the downfall to it, is that rather than living by necessity, people live by want.
Want and not just want and need too, because like.
Well, I mean, need is necessity, right?
Yes, they live by necessity, but at the same time, they sometimes put their wants in front of their needs, and that puts them into debt, and you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
exactly. But then
you have families that have 3 kids on only $10,000 a year. It's like, how are you affording?
Well,
this thing?
They get government write-offs.
But some people also confuse their wants for needs.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it too. It's more psychological, where they think they need it when they really don't.
Like, realistically, we as all gamers, we love our gaming. That
Yes,
is our
we do.
release, and that is the way that we
But do I need
relax.
it?
Do we really
Do
need
you
it?
need
though?
that extra special bonus contented video game that you only spend maybe
Did I
2 minutes
need to
with?
spend $100 on
Absolutely.
Borderlands 3? Not really, but I wanted to.
I know it.
But some people will consider it a need.
A
like,
necessity, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
need
feel
that,
art
and-
is a necessity though,
Mhm.
and I feel
Some
that video
things.
games are art.
Oh, I agree. Video
So-
games are art. I
It's-
have never had a movie make me cry.
I have.
I have had many video games make
Several.
me cry though.
Well,
Love
here's the
movies.
thing
That
about
too.
The first 10 minutes of fucking Last of Us, I was bawling mess.
Are you telling me you didn't cry when the horse was dying inside of the mud?
No, I didn't. The one movie that made me almost tear up and cry was I Am Legend when he had to kill his own daughter.
Oh,
8
that
Below.
that one got me a little bit. But
think it's
I'm
8 Below.
I'm desensitized to human death in movies, by the way.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
it's
know
animal
why.
death. It's
It's
animal death.
that gets
It's
me.
because
I'm
we're
like,
not
oh,
innocent.
that hurts.
Because humans are naughty. Humans are bad,
Horrible.
but animals are innocent. They
Right?
don't have control over it. But no, it was 8 Below for me. I was I think 15 or 16.
Uh-huh.
Okay, like teenager, grown up,
Yeah.
big girl panties. And 8 Below is about the group of huskies that goes like missing, and like this leopard seal like comes out and like tries to like bite them. And I thought that the leopard seal got one. And I just lost it. I
Oh,
was
no.
like ugly crying in a movie theater. Had to leave because I was so loud. Like,
I take that back. I did cry in a couple of movies. Latest one was Avengers Endgame. I don't know why, but it was the touching scenes between Tony and his daughter.
Well, sure, and then
That
it's a
got
big
me.
build up. Everybody's
You know
been
what I
waiting
mean?
for
well,
it.
yeah,
I
it's a
can't
culmination
say
of
anything.
things.
I cry on every. Moulin Rouge made me cry. So
Oh, that's fair.
No, but
Throwing it out there.
No, I know, but like to me, I don't get as immersed in movies to make me feel those emotions as I do with video games.
Well,
You
here's
know
the
what makes
thing.
That's what makes me feel
Video
like it. Like
games are this
I
huge
felt I
format,
was
right?
Joel.
So
I was Joel when playing that game.
No,
you
it's-
know.
video games tell a story, but they're the only format that makes you work for it.
Interactive
Right?
story.
You
Yeah.
you are the person that decides the pace of this story. You are the person that has to complete these challenges to get your reward of your answer.
What do you feel about the ones that are like that nowadays on, say, Netflix? The like
We actually
Black
haven't
Mirror
really used them.
Bandersnatch, you know, where it's a choose your own adventure. You interact with the movie.
I think that's wonderful. There's still
think
no
that's cool.
challenge to it. You're just
yeah, it's
picking
true.
an
There's no
adventure,
challenge,
but it's
so there's no like
Incentive.
give and take. There's no
yeah.
There's no what is the word
A
I'm
video
looking
game is
for?
like a
Well, it's why-
relationship.
Something in reward. You know what I mean?
It's why
Risk and
people
reward.
love
Risk and reward, that
challenging
one.
video games
Exactly.
is because you have to put in this time and effort, and when
Thank
you
you.
do and you complete it, it's like, hey, I can do this next part, and it's all fun
Yeah.
and honky dory.
I've spent hundreds of
then-
hours in this.
Yeah, and you're like, finally.
No Man's
and then
Sky.
you've got more challenging games.
We
Let's
finally
bring
broke
back in
100
like
hours the other
Dark
day.
Souls. You're like, this is bloody hard, and I am annoyed with
I
this. You put it down, you
love
pick it
it.
back up, and you keep
Cuphead.
going because you want that finale.
Feels so good when
But
you
you
finally
don't-
do the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't walk into a movie theater, sit down, and go, all right, let's earn this.
We gotta
Tony
earn
Stark."
this.
Yeah.
Well, movie theaters would go away in that sense too.
Yeah.
If everything became interactive like that and had that risk reward type movie aspect,
No one would.
You got
know.
the shitty ending. Get out.
we would
$8.
we would all go to the movie theater and what
The easy
designate
one.
one person to
Yeah,
take
But you
the
just want to
controls.
turn your brain off.
Fuck that.
Right?
You know?
Mm-hmm.
No, everything's gonna go like that. But I mean, they already have stuff like virtual movie theaters and stuff in VR.
So
VR
weird.
technology is gone
VR is
Yeah.
so
amazing.
ridiculous nowadays.
Because I mean, even I think what was it? Facebook is releasing a webcam where
Yep.
you can
Yeah.
get together
It's
and watch
insane.
movies with your friends, and it's
Yeah.
like I
Just a
understand
virtual,
it, but
Yeah, and you have like a
movie
character
theater.
that's
It's
next to
crazy.
you. You can literally look at your
Yeah.
friends as
It's
a
like-
virtual character.
Exactly.
right? You're like
It's like
guys,
that VR chat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
VR chat is
everyone just
hilarious.
watches
You
stuff
see-
together, and they're
Yeah.
on their avatar.
They're
and
just
Doing
doing whatever.
their
Yeah.
thing.
How do you guys think that stuff's gonna go? I want personally, I want full haptics to come out. I want to be
Right.
able
Sure.
to immerse myself on a
Everyone wants
360,
that.
a
Oh,
360 degree. You know.
The first time I really ever like desired it was when I was playing Dot Hack.
Oh yeah.
Dot Hack, it's called The World is the main
I
like
don't think I've
online
actually
game.
played Dot Hack.
And it
I've seen
literally it's kind of like Sword Art Online where
Okay.
like you have like a head thing and you've got like hand things and like you can measure like how much pain you feel and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like where you're like actually really immersed into it, like you feel like you're really in it. That's what I want to see. And
That'd be
that
cool
was
as
like the
hell.
most realistic portrayal of that was in Dot Hack GU.
Yeah.
Is the second, I think it was the second. It's like either the second or the third, like
Yeah,
series.
that was the
of
one
the
that
Dot
came out
Hack
PS4,
games.
right?
No, actually they released
They
Part
did they
four
re-release
recently.
part 4
Okay.
because if originally it was
Gotcha.
3 parts. I still have to finish it.
Because I
because
remember one of the dot hacks was released while I was working at GameStop.
Yeah, it's because they re-released the first 3 and then they added an additional part.
Mhm.
It's
it
been
all
like
up.
10 years.
Jesus.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, I remember the dot hack from when I was in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
it
on the PlayStation.
which was a
too.
lot
Play-
longer
PS2.
than 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the
Realized I was
PS2.
out of drink. Oh.
Drank,
Do you, want
need
me
my
to,
drink.
do you want me to crawl under the table?
No,
and
don't
get
worry
your
about
drink? Are you
It's fine.
sure?
I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
No, but I think VR is going to become the way that video games are going to be played.
Oh, I think VR is amazing. I
I
think
almost
that's
made myself throw
honestly
up
how
VR
it
playing
should
No
be.
Man's
Well,
Sky.
I know you haven't read
Yeah, with No Man's Sky.
Ready Player
accidentally
One,
downloaded
but
it.
are you, do you intend to or
It's.
anything
I
like
know.
that?
I understand the premise. It's
Okay.
an immersive kind of experience where
Well-
you go into it.
Even that they go even deeper into it too. With Ready Player One of my favorite part of the books is when, and spoilers for anyone who has not seen it or read it, because this is actually different than what's actually in the movie. One of my favorite parts in the whole story is not in the movie at all. Kind of upset me personally,
Shocking.
but hey, no. One of my favorite parts in Ready Player One in the book is when he goes undercover and is working for the Sixers for whatever, however many times. But
Yeah.
at that time, he was in VR for so long and was eating crap and everything like that. He had gotten up to like 250, 300 pounds.
Yeah.
You just
And
don't
then-
realize.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
you
like
just
Wall-E.
don't. You don't.
Yeah.
You really don't. It's exactly like Wall-E. But the thing is at that time, with working for the Sixers, he was able to save up enough money to get this very expensive rig, and it's like an entire room basically where you sit in a chair thing. This is how I envision it, at least, because it's a book. Sit in a chair thing, right, and it moves around and reacts to your movements.
Yeah.
It is you. It is an extension of you, and it moves around for you. But what he did was he actually set it to where it wouldn't let him in the game until he did so much working out.
That's
And
pretty
was
cool.
able to
Yeah.
bring his weight down and everything like that because of it.
Well, yeah, it's like the ones
Like,
where they've got the
having
3D, the
it-
360 running thing.
Exactly.
I think that's freaking amazing.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I
a
think that's so
360
cool.
degree treadmill, but
Yeah.
like not even that. What if you were just suspended in air
I think that'd be
by
really
something
cool.
attached to your rig on your back? You
Right.
know
I
what I mean?
I'd
You're
want to be able to
suspended in
feel
air.
the ground on
You
my
can-
feet.
You can do everything
Yeah.
in that sense.
I-
But like
I-
it makes it feel like you're on the ground too,
Yeah,
because
'cause of the
the rig
pressure.
itself stops your foot from moving.
Or it would be like magnets or something.
Yeah, that's part of haptics. I mean,
Yeah.
there's videos out there
Well,
that
it's-
are haptics. There's a cube thing that you can stick your hand in,
Yeah.
and then you put a VR
That's
goggle
right.
set on, and you watch the cube, and a dragon comes down and breathes fire on your hand, and you
and
feel
you feel
your-
heat,
the
and
heat
you're like,
come
what
up, and then
the?
another one comes down and breathes ice, and you feel it go cold.
Yeah, that's true.
Same company that does that. They have it to where you go into this thing, you put this really clunky big ass glove, look like freaking Hellboy going on and shit, But it
Prototype.
has
yeah.
all these cables on the back of your fingers and everything like that, and they're resistance cables. And so whenever you're interacting with something in the game, like a
like
rock,
you're picking something
it
up.
stops your
Wow.
hand from moving any further.
That's so
It
fascinating.
is insane.
Yeah.
But those kind of haptics are what I
I
kind
hope-
of want or go into.
Well,
I just
or
hope I
if
live
that-
long enough to see
Right?
that,
Yeah, right.
like, as
experience it for
Yeah.
myself.
I think
Either that or full dive technology,
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's gonna
all
be
of your body's
interesting.
stuff is just shut off, and then you're in there.
Because
Well, we're gonna have a
you've
lot
got
of
two
bad
routes
things with
for
all
it.
that.
Of course, it's
Yeah.
definitely like you make the person work to be able to still
Yeah.
do it because you don't want them to just hook up and die.
Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
Because with a full
You're-
dive kind
become
of neural
addicted to
Oh
it.
integration,
yeah, man, that would be
it's a
rough.
second reality.
I mean,
Essentially,
Yeah.
at that point.
if in that case, see, a little bit of off of
Yeah.
rails on the conversation here, but I'm one of the people who is an advocate for AI.
Of course.
I don't think robots and AI are going to be that big of a threat to us.
Of course
I think we
not.
are going to be our own threat.
Yeah.
We're going
Well,
to
of
become
course.
so
We
cybernetic.
already are.
Well, the
I think-
fact of the matter is
I
that
think we're going to have our own cybernetics and enhance ourselves up to the point of making ourselves.
well, it's the
into
same thing that
robots.
we do
Organic
with
robots.
animals, is that we
Yeah.
apply human characteristics to things because that's our frame of understanding.
It's
a
that
robot-
pack mentality. for
Exactly.
us.
A robot does not process the same way we can.
Yeah.
They don't hold emotion the way that we can.
Yeah,
So
but
why would they rise up against
you
us?
have
There's
someone.
no...
Yeah, no, you don't have any reason for that. But like,
Yeah.
I believe in the sense of robots won't exist. I don't
Yeah.
think robots like that will ever exist.
No, of course not.
Us
No.
as humans will never put AI into a robot suit.
No.
You know
I
what I
don't think
mean?
we will.
I think what some rich dude that has depression is going to put a chip in his head and become a robot. That's
Be
what
like,
I'm
yeah.
saying. The actual robots are going to be us cybernetically enhancing ourselves to the point to where we're not human anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean,
That
ultimately,
is what's going to come, and it comes the downfall to humanity.
All right, well, here
That's what
comes
I believe what it is.
like the
not AI killing
existential
us.
existential understanding of who we really are. I mean, there's evidence, because I mean, math is a universal language, so there's evidence that we are a program anyway, as it
Oh
is,
yeah,
like
I mean,
brain in a vat thing kind of
yeah.
already happening.
No, like
So ultimately, that can already be a thing. We just don't really know it. We just are
Yeah.
not aware enough that that's
I mean,
what's
like,
happening.
like in the simulation theory, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the theory goes with how many simulations there could be and everything like that.
I mean,
The
it's
reality
probable.
of it, the probability of us actually being the prime person is just so minuscule.
Yeah.
And we're just in a fucking simulation.
Exactly. I mean, out of infinite probabilities.
Yeah.
That means that everything is probable. Does
Yeah,
not
I
mean
mean, that's
not
kind of
necessarily
what
possible.
Matrix goes off of, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Being able to break yourself out of that simulation and make the simulation work for you.
Well,
You know
It's
what
like-
I mean?
which is the step into full dive.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
if you do that,
It's just Inception, guys.
It's an
We're just,
Inception,
we're
right.
just gonna
We're
get
just
further
going around in a
and further.
circle,
Just
just
deep-
spiraling down.
Where's my Curio?
I'm gonna go
Gus?
and do another game. I'm just gonna go in there, and then I'm gonna be like, "Oh, there's full dive technology in this game. Here, try it on." And I'll
Yeah,
be like,
it's gonna
"Wow."
keep happening.
And I'll go down
you're
another
gone.
layer,
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
just this husk of
That reminds me of an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
The dude, it's,
The
it's a
video
horror
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's full dive thing. He chips in. He's literally gone for like a millisecond or something like that.
But it
on
felt
the
like
chart.
a lifetime.
It was like
Yeah.
3 days in his head,
Yeah.
but he died from it.
Yep.
Like that's the risk, you know.
Yeah.
The first Black Mirror
That one
episode I ever
freaked
showed
me
you.
out.
The first Black Mirror episode I ever showed you.
Can we pause? I have to.
Of course, go for it.
Good.
We will
I
take a
don't
break
know what
real
I was gonna
quick,
do.
Oh.
and
you
we
go
I was
ahead
gonna
first.
curl
will
under.
be
go
we'll
ahead
be
first.
back
No, I was gonna
Okay.
give drinks.
momentarily.
Fresh as a
And we're
daisy.
back, guys. Yes, babe, you were caught.
Nope.
Caught.
No,
Totally
it's not
caught.
anything. I was running.
It's recorded.
I was running Naruto style. You did not. see
Whatever.
Too fast for you.
Oh my
Super
god.
fast.
Oh man. All right. So
We didn't drink anything on our break.
where we left off was, I mean, we were wrapped up pretty good with the VR.
Yeah,
full
with the
dive
VR
stuff.
and the full dive.
So one of the things I wanted to bring up to you guys today was, and we talked about it a little bit on the break, DLC, downloadable content, and what they mean to you.
Well, I would have to say that probably one of my favorite parts of a video game that I've ever played was the DLC for Dark Souls for Artorias. Artorias of the Abyss is based off of Guts from Berserk, which is one of like the greatest manga and anime of all time, in my opinion. So I fucking loved it. The problem I have is that oftentimes with DLC, it's either I like it more than the game, or I hate it. I wish it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Horse armor.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's fair.
yeah.
But,
There's
like,
no in between for me. Either
Yeah.
I'm like really into it or I hate it.
Well, I mean, like cosmetic DLC and stuff like that isn't necessarily what I'm going after with
Sure.
when I say DLC. I'm talking about
Like
like
the gameplay.
story.
Well, yeah,
gameplay and
that's
stuff like
how
that.
I feel about
Exactly
A new
on that one.
chapter or-
I know a lot of people sit there and say that their game has been cut up and sliced up, and you're getting an unfinished game because of these DLC that comes out.
it. Well, this is kind of the problem that No Man's Sky had. Is that
A little bit, except their DLC is all free.
But their
you know what I mean?
exactly. I think
it's
that
an ever-growing game.
I think that DLC should be free because if you wanted that to be a part of the original game, it should have been.
I don't know.
I mean, that
because-
would extend a lot of the developing times and a lot of the
I'm
people...
willing to wait.
I know you are, but a lot of us gamers are very, very impatient, and a lot
That's
of people
fair.
go to forums and everything like that and say, this game is taking too damn long. You know what I mean?
Hey man, magic doesn't happen overnight.
I know, but like there's been a couple of times where something was announced at E3. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean Animal Crossing
3 or
for
4
one.
years,
Yeah, you wait.
3 or 4 years before release, like the newest Halo that still not
Sure.
even has a release date.
Well,
It
we've
was
been
announced 2 years ago.
We've heard about the remake of Final Fantasy VII for how long
Final
now?
Fantasy VII is a huge
Kingdom
one.
Hearts
But like,
3.
and like Kingdom, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3 has been like 10 years on the making.
Exactly.
Don't
It's one of
announce
those
unless
things.
It's almost ready. Like,
Exactly.
almost
It's one of those
exactly.
things where developers need to do something, but they're getting pushed so much
Deadlines.
by the community
Yeah.
that even their vision of the game is getting skewed. They're
Yeah.
changing their game because
They can't-
it's like an ever process. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they announce these things, and this is like, hey, this is what our game's gonna be. But the community comes back and is like, no, fuck
Actually,
you,
we
your
hate it.
thing's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it this way, and they're like, well, we gotta go back to the fucking drawing board.
Yeah.
Let's start over. You know what I mean? Like that's some things that they got to do. Where if they did that and then just added these extra features that the community wants in DLC later on, is nice. Now, a lot of people get then mad because they're saying, well, fine, do that, but then make the DLC free.
Yeah, I think that.
Whereas my argument to that is, if that's the case, we need to raise the price of video games.
No,
$120.
that's insane.
It is one of the only things in America and the worldwide that has not been hit with inflation.
I disagree.
Why? There's Nintendo 64 games when you bought them fresh off the shelves that were $40, $60.
Were they really that
Mhm.
expensive?
Yeah.
I don't
It is-
remember them being
It
that
is one of the
expensive.
only
Yeah.
things, only mediums that has not been hit with
That's
inflation.
fascinating.
Video games have stayed
Well, sure.
$60 for 20 years.
But the price of consoles has gone up.
True.
The price, and then now you're required
but developers
to
for
have
these games,
memberships.
aren't getting those money.
Exactly, but
They
they,
aren't
should
getting
be.
the money.
They should be though.
That's why video
the
games
issue.
themselves should be higher pay. Say I get Witcher 3 with all of the DLC and shit like that, not a Game of the Year edition, but on release. Witcher 3
Yeah.
with all the DLC, $120. I'll pay that
So
shit.
but that's the thing though. is
You
that
know what I mean?
in order to
Don't
get
give me
all of
this
that,
cosmetic
there's all this
bullshit.
pre-order bullshit, and
But
I
that's
don't
part. That's part of the developers trying
Yeah.
to get that money. You
Yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
fair.
They need to get the money to be able to
To be able
finish
to
these
back it.
games and everything like that. Where I know some of our conversation earlier kind of helps alleviate that with the Kickstarter.
with a
stuff like
Kickstarter.
that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's important. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I do like pre-orders because in a way it's also like layaway, so it helps people afford them better.
I don't think so. I don't think so
Kind
at
of.
all. I think it's more.
I mean, it can be.
I mean, I would
it
rather
really
pay
can be.
$5
can be.
down and then $10 per paycheck up until whenever it's released,
Yeah.
instead of paying $60 outright. As someone who can't afford a lot of nice
Exactly, like, I
things
can't
right off the
drop-
bat.
Well, with how many games I like to play, I can't drop $120
Especially
per
if we were able to do
title every time,
Yeah.
especially if I have to buy it fucking twice if I want to play it with my husband.
But that's where maybe instead of doing these like super incentives, I know like GameStop doesn't do the best with their
Not
pre-order stuff. They
anymore.
push way too damn hard for this kind
Yeah.
of stuff. You know what I mean? They focus on pre-orders way too damn much.
Yes, they do.
Whereas if you go to GameStop, Best Buy, Amazon now digitally
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that, or digitally on your consoles, if you were able to pre-order
on
a
my
game
console, and it'll
on
be
your
downloaded
console-
on the day it's released.
But I mean, you can do that already. But the
Yeah.
only downside with that is you have to pay it in full.
Yeah.
But if you were able to say do payments on your console toward these games, I think that would alleviate so much stuff.
Mm.
Because if it was a $120 game to where the developers are wanting to put their heart and soul into this thing.
But here's the biggest problem you run into. You are giving money to a product that isn't finished yet, and you don't know
Exactly.
what the outcome
That's
is.
the No Man's Sky issue.
This
you
is
know
the
what I
No
mean?
Man's Sky
We
issue.
ran into that issue
Because
when I did the No Man's Sky
Pre-orders
thing.
started as a way to get that kind of money to push the development to progression.
Yeah, but then
and
some
finishing.
developers also don't
But
take
it's
that
not
accountability
developers
either.
It's
Yeah.
the publishers.
It's the
Publishers are a big one, especially EA.
Oh, God.
EA pushes their games out way too damn early. Mass
they
Effect
do.
Andromeda had that.
Oh
Yeah.
man, Andromeda.
I
It
had
was
so
so
much-
sad.
I had
It was
so
Everyone
much
did.
faith in Andromeda.
Yeah, everybody
Like,
did
it
because
was-
Mass Effect
I
3 was
still
so
like
good.
Mass Effect
Effect 3
Andromeda.
was
Well, it
amazing.
was
But
BioWare Quebec.
It was BioWare
It was
Quebec.
a smaller studio.
It was the smaller BioWare
They
studio.
had less money, and they
Yeah.
sent out the pre-order for it.
But
and,
also,
yeah, I mean, you are getting all these things, but taking a step back,
Yeah.
you have to realize DLC has changed in its entirety too.
Mhm.
Because when Morrowind came out, they were complete expansions, new isles, new quests.
Well, I
I-
mean, like
yeah.
some games and some developers do their DLC really well,
Sea of
which are
Thieves
3 that I came up with.
also does
Yeah.
really well with the
Sea of
DLC.
Thieves
See,
is
this
really
is-
good with
this
their
is
Sea of
what I
Thieves.
think
The only
that they should be
downside with
doing.
Sea of Thieves is when it first released.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of the video game analogy, which is as wide as an ocean but as deep as a puddle?
Yeah,
That was what
the-
Sea of Thieves was
Yeah.
on release, and the DLC that came out, which is free DLC for
Right.
it just is an ever building game. It just makes it so much better,
Right.
more and more.
That's
and more
why I
as you
think
go.
that the DLC should be free.
Yeah.
But this
But-
is my argument. I think that video games should be free with membership. If you are paying a membership, I'm willing to pay $30 a month. Which
So,
I mean,
like,
I'm paying $30 for 3 months.
So here's
so
one.
like PlayStation Now.
PlayStation Now and Xbox has theirs as well.
Mhm.
They're $60 ones for 6 months.
They should be investing more of because
But
I mean, ultimately, it doesn't cost them anything.
Xboxes on top of that
Mhm.
allow you any Xbox exclusive game is
Mhm.
immediately free on Game Pass. If you pay a Game Pass
Sure.
subscription,
Mhm.
like Gears 5 just came out.
Yeah, that's true. Gears. Oh
It
my
is
god, I can't
on
believe
day
it.
one available
can't
on
believe
Game
it.
Pass.
That's incredible.
Sea of Thieves,
incredible.
day one available on Game Pass.
And I think
Like,
that
those
that's the direction we
exclusives
should be
are-
going.
Yeah.
I
But
like
I don't
that,
think. But I don't like exclusives. It's more
those-
gatekeeping.
those I understand that too, but
Mhm.
those kind of subscription bases and everything like that, the developers don't see dime.
Yeah, that's the concern is that they should be investing that money into
Into
them
developers
rather
and stuff.
than investing it into lining their businessmen pockets
I
because
agree.
it doesn't cost them anything. They already have to maintain those servers for their own development. It does not cost them anything to provide online support.
Ooh, that was very unattractive. I went like this and like total
Yep.
like triple chin myself. That was very
See,
bad.
I have a chin guard for that.
Yeah.
I know. I
The
wish I
beard.
can grow a chin guard.
Thing
Oh.
too, to bring back to like the pre-order aspect of it,
Mhm.
do you think they also do pre-orders to kind of gauge how many
Oh,
Interest.
easily.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's 100%. what
It's
it
kind
is,
of like
too.
it's like a pulse
To
on the
be better.
community.
It's how well
How
is
it-
this game going to sell type thing.
it's Star Wars Battlefront. Well, we've
Oh,
got all
God,
these.
Battlefront.
All these.
Don't give me. Don't. Battlefront 1, I pre-ordered the shit out of that. And
Battlefront 1 wasn't
Battlefront
that bad.
2,
Wasn't that bad?
Battlefront 2 was announced. Well, it's not the originals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the.
That's what they were trying to sell,
That's
though.
what they
was
were
that
trying
they
to
were
sell, it was
that
the
they were the
originals.
originals.
Yeah.
And so when
It's like,
Battlefront
oh,
1
sorry,
and 2
you have to
came
pay to
were coming out,
play. See, that's
that
the
brings me to the
that's
loot
issue.
box
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yep,
all
pay to
right?
play things.
Because with
Well, play
Battlefront
to
1,
win.
Battlefront 2, no
It's
matter
the
what,
privilege.
if you had privilege and you grew up rich or have a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
you can beat anybody's ass
Yeah.
in that game. It's not about skill anymore. It's not original
It's about
Mortal
what you
Kombat
can
anymore.
afford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what can you afford? What gives you the edge?
And that's a huge issue I have.
there was a meme about it when it first came out. There was like, okay, you can play this game for
400 hours.
400 and it was
50
like,
hours,
it was
yeah.
actually some crazy ass number too.
Yeah, it was
because they're
insane.
like their whole thing about it was like, but you can unlock this stuff with in-game playtime.
Yeah.
too. Yeah, but you can.
Yeah, if I
either
want to play
unlock-
Darth Vader, I have to
If you
play
unlock-
500 fucking hours.
You either unlock everything with $250 right at day
Yeah.
one, or you pay 200,000 hours into this thing and can finally unlock everything.
Yep.
Because you sometimes get duplicates and shit like that.
I mean,
They-
ultimately,
out of that
I
shit-
like the
oh my
way
God, it was bad.
Blizzard does some of their stuff. I mean, I
Cosmetic only.
have an issue with
That's fine.
Overwatch loot boxes. I mean, I've gotten better about it.
I mean,
with
a little bit, but the
with
thing is,
World
with
of
Overwatch and
Warcraft,
everything,
you
it's
can use
cosmetics.
in-game money to pay for your subscription.
Yeah.
That is
I like that now.
fucking
Yeah.
brilliant. I think that is
super
brilliant.
Especially those who do that as a job. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
people, it's 2019. People do this shit as a job.
Well,
they
even more so.
They farm and collect these different weapons and items and everything like that, and they're able to sell these things for tens of thousands of dollars online.
See, with that though, it's like paying your subscription with your gold. EVE Online did that, where if you had enough game credits,
Yeah.
you could pay for your.
EVE Online is a whole nother
EVE
monster.
Online was
But-
great.
That's a
What
monster.
was even
right there.
more so though is if you had
That
enough
learning
of a
curve, though.
business,
Yeah.
you could keep getting those months and actually sell them back for money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, legitimately, like, the EVE Online, I think, to this day is still one of the most lucrative real
Like
world.
immersive real world.
People will watch
just
stocks
Yeah.
in
the way
that game.
the way that they're able to make a living
Yeah.
on video
It's
games.
true.
It's the most, I think, realistic one to do.
And their
The
TOS
learning
is great.
curve on that was a little bit rough, though.
Their TOS is great. They're like, yeah, you can sell this shit. I don't care.
Sure, why the fuck not?
Blizzard has me remove accounts from eBay all the time. So.
Right. But and with loot boxes, I think an important part though is is being required now for games to be sold in certain countries is that you have to disclose what your chances are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
It's
a form
it's
of
gambling.
It's a form of, it was, what was it? Borderlands, or no, Borderlands. We were just talking about
Although they do have those
Battlefield.
keys.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Battlefield 2.
Battlefield 2.
Battlefront, sorry, not Battlefield. Battlefield's a whole nother one.
Yeah, that's called.
Battlefront 2 was banned, I think, in Sweden or something like that. One of the European.
I wouldn't be
One of the
surprised.
European
Because of the
countries.
loot
It was
boxes.
straight up
Because
banned
gambling.
because of it. They said it was gambling.
Yeah.
You can't sell this to minors
Yeah.
because it's fucking gambling.
Yeah. And
I'm like, I mean, that is, it's fucking gambling. That's all right.
I mean,
That's true.
I don't have as much of a problem with the way that they do it because it's all cosmetic. I mean, sure.
I mean,
I would really like to have all those cosmetics, but
Well,
it doesn't
it's like
affect my
skin.
gameplay
not
at all.
Battlefront.
No, not Battlefront. No, I'm talking.
Battlefront was like,
I'm talking loot
Blasted.
boxes.
Let's,
Yeah.
let's bring back down distinguishing your wants versus your needs.
Exactly.
that is true.
Right there.
Yes, very
Exactly.
true,
You don't
exactly.
I need to be
costumes.
able to play.
Yeah.
I want the costume, but I don't need it in order to play the character I want to
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very, very, very,
Sorry.
very.
Head around that
No,
back.
no, it's a good one. It is exactly kind of the things that you need to look at too. But I mean, it's a topic of conversation for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people talk about this kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, ultimately, I think it's the same as the music business as it is now. It's no longer sales of CDs or like like how many times a song is listened to. It's tours and merchandise.
Dude, iTunes revolutionized that shit with here's one song, 99 cents. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
That was cool as hell.
You
I
can
will
it.
buy-
There are so many CDs that I don't like all the songs. There are like 2 of them.
yeah, but I
You know?
had the whole fucking CD
Yeah,
because
there was, I only listened to 2
Because
of
you
them.
could only get
songs.
Okay,
You
now
only
it's
get the
there.
full
Skip,
CD,
skip, skip,
yeah.
skip, skip. You know what I mean?
Track 12.
Oh, I don't like this
Yeah.
one. Skip, skip, skip.
If
So
you
I
like
think
track
that
7,
is
you
the
gotta
direction
track it.
that they should go with video games. I mean, T-shirts and stickers will always do well. They will always sell because you like to
stickers.
wear what you like and you like to put things on already existing products that
Yeah.
you have.
A lot of game developers though aren't the ones that are doing these merchandise things.
They need to be. They need to be.
yes.
And that's where they'll get their money.
They need to have another source of income, like a passive income.
And
on
I
their
think
games
a lot
and
of that is in older games because
Yeah.
there would be merchandising deals with all of these.
Look at all the fucking
big
Legends
game
of Zelda
releases.
stuff.
Oh God, I don't even
the
think.
Burger King toys and like
Yeah.
for Sonic Adventure.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if licensing and stuff like that is there. It's probably going to the company itself, but is it going to the workers?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it going to
Right.
the actual developers, the guys that are doing it? You know what I mean?
Right. That's the problem with people that like record labels and then what's the word I'm looking for? What is EA called?
A publisher?
Publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, publishers. This is the problem was that they're like, hey, you're talented, give me the money for it. Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
right.
I got you
Those
exposure.
are the guys. Those are the guys who own the licenses for that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So those are the guys who go out and
They go
actually
find
do
a
it.
studio.
So
Yeah.
who was it? So okay, here's a good example. EA ran the publishing and everything like that and marketing for BioWare
Mm-hmm.
for Mass Effect
Mm.
and also for Dragon Age and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, the
If
first one was so
anyone
good.
were if Dragon Age shirts are out there, Mass Effect shirts are out there and stuff like that, it's EA that gets that money,
Yep.
not BioWare.
Exactly.
Which is
EA.
why
Because
it's so
EA were
impressive
the
when
ones-
they hunt stores
EA
online.
exactly.
Yeah.
EA is doing all the footwork in order to find these merchandise deals.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're the ones that are designing it and creating these shirts and T-shirts, and
Child slave labor in
stickers
China.
and all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're the ones that are going out and doing these things, and so sadly, the developer themselves aren't getting any of it.
Well, I think indie
Which-
games are doing a lot better than they used to be because
well,
of that,
think
though.
of Stardew Valley.
Yeah. Oh my God, I know.
One guy.
Made by
One
one dude.
Hey,
One new. He's like, I like this game, and this game. Let's make it my own.
Well, I mean, and same with Terraria. They just finally released that final update. It's the last one. The water looks everything looks amazing.
Yeah.
So like I think that's really where the business is going now, with the big publishers and stuff like that, and how much gatekeeping there is with like exclusive releases for titles, and that's why I like the Switch so much. Is because
Yeah,
if
they
you
opened up-
are your own creator, they opened it up to all sorts of
yeah.
They
from all
finally
sorts of
opened it up.
places.
They opened
Nintendo
up
has
their
always been
marketplace.
so
Yeah.
stingy on what kind of stuff they
With
have.
third-party
Yeah.
And
titles.
until Switch. And
Until
I'm
the
like,
Switch.
this is insane. The moment Dark Souls was announced
Yeah.
on the Switch, I was
I
like,
couldn't believe it.
what?
I couldn't believe
They're
it.
having gore?
Yeah.
Well, and
But then again, I then looked back and go,
Doom 64,
no
Turok
heroes.
2.
Turok too,
No,
yeah.
no more room for heroes or
Yeah,
whatever.
you're like,
no more
oh,
heroes.
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh, Conker's, yeah.
You're like, Nintendo's ends. Oh.
And Night in the Woods, I might mention again.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. But no, like when they were getting all these good, like what I'm
Nintendo,
saying,
get
like,
Cat Lady.
these AAA
Get Cat
titles that are just crazy. You know what I mean?
yeah, but they
It's
have
just
this
insane.
marketplace open, like you can get these $2.99 games on your Switch,
love it.
which
Oh,
is
yeah,
like
it's amazing.
personally, I'm like,
Old school
who's gonna
arcade,
play
it,
that?
yeah.
Old school
But-
arcade stuff is.
And you're
awesome.
getting this free with a subscription.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
you don't get Smash with that subscription.
No.
You don't get these
That is
other
true.
big
Yeah.
AAA games.
Yeah.
That's what that subscription would need in order for that to
Oh
happen.
Yeah.
yeah.
The closest one that is doing stuff like that
I am willing
with
to
their
pay.
current games is
Yeah.
Microsoft. With
Yeah.
their past games, it's PlayStation.
Oh
Yeah.
Because you get every single fucking God of
Absolutely.
War
Yeah.
through PlayStation Now.
Yeah,
Every single one.
absolutely.
You can play as much as you want of it.
But ultimately,
No, that's just
I'm
cool.
willing to pay 3 times as much per month
Mhm.
for that.
I like that. I do like that games as a subscription thing.
Well, and it sucks
But-
that you even have to kind of pay for an
True.
online with a console.
It's so
But
stupid.
the thing is, the downside with that is we would never do it to one subscription.
No.
It would be to the developer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay BioWare $13 a month
And have all the
and have all of the
BioWare
BioWare
Yeah.
stuff. That's where we go back into where our launcher thing comes in.
Yeah. And
Yeah, the
they're like,
Kickstarter.
Because then
well,
you're going
we
to have
might
to
as well
have
just
way too many consoles because
Yeah.
they're each going to have their own console at that point.
Yeah.
You're going to have way too many consoles. You're going to have way too many launchers on your PC. You're going to have all of that kind of stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just that bogged down with too many subscriptions.
I think
Because
the problem
in
is
order
everybody
for it
is
to go to-
greedy.
Exactly.
Everybody is fucking greedy.
Money,
Like,
damn it.
just let me
Get
play
rid of
video
money,
games.
Get rid of money, and then we can solve all world problems.
It's
Which,
true.
I mean, that is true. But
It is true.
Star Trek. But listen,
Star Trek.
if I wanted my computer to start up even more slowly, yeah, give me those launchers. Let's go, man. Steam
Okay.
starts up every time. I'm like, let's go.
Steam starts anyway. Let's get 13 launchers to start up
Oh,
automatically.
good. 14 updates.
All right, cool. I'll play video games tomorrow.
Yeah, right. That was
Fuck
me.
it.
That was us the other night. We were
Oh.
downloading a ton of updates.
Yeah, that's what kind of is bad about the new generation because it's
Yeah.
you have this cartridge that you got from the store. You go home, you blow
That's
it.
the
even
whole
though
game.
You're not supposed to.
Oh no.
Right, and you plug
The
it in, and you
moisture.
just go, 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 and go.
And
And
that's
that's
the
the
whole
entire
thing.
experience. But now it's okay. I got the console for Christmas. Let me
Yeah.
plug it in. Let me download all the system updates and install the game, and then update the game.
Now I gotta pay for my subscription service.
And it's
And then I have
an
to have a-
ordeal.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. Well, okay. I will give you an example. I agree with you on this one because of this example. The other day, all right, it's been 7 days since Borderlands 3 has been released. It came out September 3rd.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Yes,
Yep.
came out the 13th. So it's been technically 7 days. I mean, I got on the 12th because of
'Cause
how
you were
early
good, yeah.
release bullshit happens, and I had it pre-ordered. But we wanted to play, and we wanted to play the next day with a couple of our friends.
And you
who
don't
are-
get to play until 2 a.m. because you're downloading fucking everything.
No, I had a physical copy, so
Oh,
it's
that's
not
true.
that's not big of a deal. But what it is on Friday when we were wanting to play with them, I was like,
The servers.
oh shit,
I bet.
I don't have PSN.
I don't have the PlayStation.
I don't have PlayStation Plus right
I
now.
don't
Yeah,
have
I
PlayStation.
can't use
So we
the
gotta go
online
buy some
services.
PlayStation Plus now.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
On-
we had to do that
Yeah.
in order for us to play with our friend over in Massachusetts.
So brilliant, and I'm just gonna on top of that
Mhm.
praise Square Enix with Final Fantasy 14. You do not need a PlayStation subscription to play Final Fantasy on your PlayStation because
anymore.
you're using Square Enix's
Yeah.
servers.
Yes.
Cool.
So even if,
I didn't know that
Yeah.
at all, but
Yeah.
that is amazing because I have 2 copies of Final Fantasy 14. I have it on my PC and I have
Yeah.
it on my PlayStation.
and you don't need the PlayStation.
The
Yeah,
only
you don't need
downside,
the subscription.
only downside with that though is they do make you
2 separate licenses.
Yeah.
It's not.
they make you have 2 separate licenses. I already have 2 separate licenses
Well, yeah.
technically anyway. I have a physical copy of Final Fantasy 14 for the PlayStation,
Yeah.
and then digital obviously for,
Right,
for
for the
PC.
PC.
But I can't play all of the content on my PlayStation 1
Right.
until I get a new copy of the PlayStation 1 because I don't have all the DLC.
Yeah, you don't have
Right,
the expansion.
you don't have
the
license on
expansion
that.
I
license.
think I have the second one.
Heaven's Word Stormblood.
Heaven's
He-
Word, Stormblood,
Heaven's Word. Yeah.
Heaven's Word.
Okay,
You only
so-
have Heaven's Word on there? Oh.
That's when I bought it. That's when I
Yeah.
bought it. I bought the
That's
disc that was
sad.
Heaven's
Yeah.
Ward, Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 15 or 14, Heaven's Ward.
See, that's why
That's the
people
one I
don't buy
bought.
physical
Well, and
copies
it's just
anymore.
beautiful though because
I
you've
agree.
already got this online subscription to play Final Fantasy on a monthly MMO
Mhm.
basis. So the fact that I don't have to add another PlayStation Network subscription on top of what I'm already paying to play my game is just a
I mean, that
brilliant
makes it
move.
amazing. That makes it
See,
great.
and that ultimately, that's what we're gonna need. We're gonna need companies to work together
To host
to make it doable. But
that
I know
would be
that,
amazing, but it would never.
but they're
happen.
not gonna.
They're
yeah,
not going to
they're
because
not
the
going
thing
to.
is, that takes me a little bit to the Sony Disney deal with Spider-Man right now. You know
Oh
what I mean?
man, that makes me so
It's not.
sad.
It's not 2 companies working together to appease the fans.
No,
it's 2 companies going after money.
Yeah, it's
That's
just for
all
money.
it is.
It's
The whole thing with that, Disney wasn't happy with their thing, but I don't blame Disney fully either. Disney
oh
had
man, I have so many mixed feelings about it.
it is a lot of mixed feelings because I don't think either one of them were in the right.
Yeah.
They were both in the wrong.
Yeah.
They're still money grubbing.
100%.
I mean, they're all money grubbing.
Like, I'm sorry, Disney, you made a deal for 5%, guys, and you get all merchandise.
and you did it, yeah,
You
and
guys
that's
get
what you
all
get,
merchandise for it. And Sony
and that's how they make a lot of the
covers
money.
all of the cost for any Spider-Man only films.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Well, that's the way I said it. If they went
Homecoming,
from, like,
Far From Home,
5%
all covered
to
by Sony.
7%.
Yeah.
yeah,
Or 8%.
A small
That's a little bit different.
10%. No, they went immediately for
Straight
50.
yeah.
What?
Half.
It's like okay,
A horrible business move.
that
And
is
then Sony was
not
like, you know what?
how
Stiff arm.
business works.
No.
Yeah.
Well, here
Sony should have
You
been
bought
like,
everybody else.
okay, we'll agree to you getting 50% when we get 50% of your merchandise too.
yeah,
And
that would have been fair.
then Disney probably would be like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah,
Keep,
exactly.
We'll keep the 5%.
Yeah, with movies and stuff like that anyway.
People don't know how
Most
to
of your money
negotiate
getting-
anymore.
Most of your
No.
money is going to be made off of freaking merchandise.
Yeah.
anyway.
Exactly.
Why do you think a lot of actors have gone into that and had that same deal? Oh, well, I'll only get paid like 5%. But I'll get this much out of merchandise
Yeah.
Yeah.
for life.
Yeah.
Star Wars was like that. Star Wars, the original Star Wars, when New Hope came
Yeah,
out,
they had no money. They
George
had
Lucas
none.
straight up said, "You finance this, guys. You guys get all of the box office stuff.
We
every
get merchandise.
bit of it.
I,
I'll take merchandise."
It's
And they're
the
like, "Man, it ain't
wisest
gonna
way to
sell
go
like
about
this."
it.
God, man.
Yeah.
and now
Just pockets. There's a documentary on it. There's a documentary on that shit.
There's a okay.
Holy hell, he got rich off
His
that.
sister's
Just by
ex-roommate.
merchandise.
His sister's
Yeah.
ex-roommate. He has everything Star Wars. Like
Mhm.
everything he owns is Star Wars themed. Like his entire room, his bathroom set, his dishes, the front room. He's got everything that is Star Wars.
and you just
Like
think
how much
merchandise.
money was that? And it's
I have
all
a Star
going
Wars
to
shower
them.
curtain in that closet right there.
it's like
Like,
merchandise is what
no,
people love.
it's
Yeah.
huge.
It's what people love.
there
It's a
is-
business card you can fucking wear.
Hell yeah! There's there is a special edition Boba Fett.
Mm.
I think it's big. It's tiny little thing. You know, it's tiny. It's the most expensive toy on the market today.
Did you know that they
Period.
have a
It is
little?
like I don't even know.
They have a little figurine that's a C-3PO, and he has a penis.
Oh my god.
It's like this big.
That is
Wait,
not how you
his
spell
penis or-
Raiders.
No, well, no, he is, and then his penis is like that big. It's
impressive.
pretty impressive.
All right, so let me get this real quick on the display. Mayhaps.
We have to all turn
All
our
right.
heads there at once.
So we have these things right here with the shootable rocket off the bat.
Okay.
Okay. This one is three. That's not the right one. But there is one that's like fucking thousands of dollars.
Is it not
It's
going to
a
be on
Boba
eBay?
Fett.
Let me tell you.
No, but it's a Boba Fett movie weeb. Here we go.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's this guy right
Oh
here.
my god.
Let's see. Crazy Rare Boba Fett. $365,000 plus tax.
Who is like, that's what that's worth?
Right?
You know what?
No, seriously, this kind of stuff right here.
It's made out of
It's
plastic and might
insane.
have lead in it.
I want to
Oh,
drop.
from then? Yeah, it definitely has
exactly,
lead.
yeah.
Definitely has lead.
No, don't let me buy a house. I want this. This is nice.
Depending on where you go, that's worth 2 houses.
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
But guys, I need
I
this.
need-
It's a
need
need.
this.
It's a necessity.
See, and then
damn it.
here is the disparity between fuck capitalism and I want my goddamn Boba Fett figurine.
If we were, but the thing is, though, I mean, there are downsides to everything that we've
Sure.
said today, like the Star Wars or Star Trek. Sorry, that'll get me yelled at online. The Star
Do it
Trek,
yourself.
the Star Trek, like economy and stuff like that. We
Way
wouldn't have
of
shit like
life.
this.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff would not exist because there's not a necessity for
Exactly.
something like this to exist.
Well, yeah, because there's no
It does not benefit humankind.
nobody's benefiting.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nobody benefiting. The person who makes it doesn't get anything out of it. Why would
I
the
feel
person
like-
want? Why would
Yeah,
anybody want?
I mean,
it?
I feel like sadly that's where video games would be in
Yeah.
like a Star Trek kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just kind
Because
of
Arts
like
in
it's
general.
not a necessity
creation.
in a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I mean,
that-
they have art in Star Trek. They
Yeah,
have
but
stuff.
but like
But what do you determine?
I mean,
as
it's hollow art.
entertainment
Yeah.
for the people.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's where economies like that, like a utopia, I guess.
But
you could
instead
say,
we have a
would
boring
never.
dystopia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would never exist in that kind of sense.
Now we have an Orwellian dystopia. Welcome.
And I want my 365,000.
We've known about this for like 38 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it was like, what is that one show on PBS? The Antiques Roadshow.
Oh,
yeah.
You'll see that, and they appraise this blanket, and it's like, well, it'll sell for $500,000 at auction. And they're like, oh my god! And then a guy who's like, oh,
Here's
it's
my
in my
pink-
closet, and he
Yeah.
pulls one out and sells it for $1.5 million.
Right?
And you're like, I want that blanket.
Yeah, I
Well,
want
that's like-
that
that's like
blanket.
the,
Why?
the
Why do
people-
you want that blanket?
That's like the people going around to thrift stores. You know
Oh,
what
I
mean?
love it. I
With
love
like
it.
a book, and it's like these are the items I'm fucking looking for
Yep.
because this shit will net me a shit ton of money.
Yeah, it's
I
fascinating.
still have a fucking tennis racket that is from like the 1920s that I thought was gonna be worth some fucking money.
And it's
They ain't
not.
worth shit.
Hey,
Right.
hey, we bought it for $5 and we can probably sell it on eBay for $50.
Technically,
Probably.
sell it on eBay for $50. Yes.
Well, it's like keeping
But-
your old Pokemon cards. You're like,
At that
I will
point,
be rich.
yeah.
Look at my holographic Charizard. And you look. And
I mean,
you're like,
holographic
$2.
Yeah,
Great.
I
holographic
have
Charizard original edition right now.
Three
going-
original
highest paid-
edition holographic
fucking-
Lugias, and they're like $50 a piece, and I think that's the best they'll ever get.
Yeah,
We
well,
had
sell,
a hidden-
sell.
We
So
had,
high.
we had a hidden comic book that we
We
didn't
did.
think was worth crap.
We had
Sold
Nick's,
for $300.
Nick's number
Yeah.
3. Which Nick's number 3 is the first showing of X-23,
Mhm.
which is Wolverine's daughter.
Oh,
It is the first
that's
showing
fascinating.
of Wolverine's daughter, the one that they just made the movie on.
Right.
Logan had just come out like a couple
So
of
it
years
was
before
like,
that,
Aha.
So
and
it's like,
so we have a fucking massive 400 and something comic books.
Jesus.
Took them to a comic shop and was like, hey guys, how much will you give me for all of these? They spent an hour and a half looking through every single comic book that we had, picked out the Nick's number 3, set that aside, and said, hey, this is your only expensive one right here. The only one. We're like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
How much will you give us for all of it? 400 something comics. They're like, we'll give you $25.
Wow, GameStop returned.
No, it
GameStop.
wasn't even $25. It was only $20.
Oh, it was only $20. Sorry.
That's disgusting.
Ooh. $5.
I
But
mean,
no,
granted, they're
they
trying
say-
to make money themselves.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we turned around and sold Nick's number 3 on eBay for $300.
Yeah.
And we've sold separately other comic books. We've already sold another like
Another $200
$150,
worth.
$200
Yeah.
worth of comics.
Yeah.
And we still
Yeah.
have 370.
200, 300.
No, we have over 300
Yeah, we have
still.
a lot still.
And it's
But
just
we've
like
made over $500 off of these comic books with Nick's number 3 and these other like small little packs that we've done.
Yeah.
Just at yard sales. You know what I mean?
Oh, yard sales.
But these guys are like fucking, we'll give you $20 for all of them, and this one included. He sold that for $300. What? What percentage are you trying to get off this? 3,000% increase? Shit.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, how do you
Clearly.
pay the
And
price?
we even gave that dude a steal. It's a steal for $300 because that normally goes for like $800-900. The reason why we only sold it for $350 or so, I think,
300
Because you probably didn't get it
300
appraised.
It wasn't appraised.
Yep.
Yeah,
And we didn't want
exactly
to
what it
spend
was.
the money to send
Yeah, exactly.
it out to
That's
get
why
Yeah,
I
and
won't
plus
do that for my
appraisers,
Pokemon card.
appraisers don't do single comics.
No, they don't. They
It's
do.
a
They do
bulk.
collections.
They like the set.
Well, we had the rest of the set for Nyx,
And they
but
were
no
like-
one wants the rest of them. They just want
They
Nyx
just want
free.
that one. Yeah.
So you're like, why bother?
I don't know.
Comics
Shit like that.
now.
Yeah, comics. Fuck. No, I love this kind of stuff. This is kind of what I wanted my podcast to be. There was just people coming in, talking, bullshitting, discussing these kind of issues. Yeah, we have different opinions on things, but we're not.
I mean, granted, I'm not an expert on business.
I mean, yeah, true.
Or economics.
I'm not
or...
a video game expert
certified
too.
in
I'm just
none of
a
these.
gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, ultimately, my opinions I know are not necessarily going to be right
We just
or
live in
like
society.
agreeable.
That is the greatest thing about opinions. Is they're your own, and you have
Everyone
every
has
right.
one.
And you have every right to have it.
Right?
It's the greatest thing about opinion. No matter
Oh
what.
yeah, but everybody expects you to be fucking reasonable, like especially with like firearm control, and I'm over here like, yeah, I think we should melt them all down and make statues of Obama.
I mean,
Literally,
yeah.
anytime anybody asks me what I think, that's what I say. Do I really believe it? Doesn't really matter because my belief, my opinion as far as that goes, is not going to be agreeable for everybody.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
I mean,
different.
Doesn't matter.
that's part of why we can't have a Star Trek community.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everybody wants their own shit and aren't
Yeah.
willing to bend.
Nobody
At all.
needs
Nobody
more
wants
than
to-
$1 million. Nobody ever needs
Never.
more than $1 million.
Never.
That's my opinion.
But I need over $1 million.
I need a
It's
yacht,
necessity.
and then I need another yacht.
I need a mansion.
I need a yacht
And a
that I can
pool.
park in my yacht.
Okay.
Yeah.
And every
I
one
just-
of those yachts better have a new PS5.
If I had $2
Before it
million,
comes out.
I'd buy myself a house, and then I'd buy a house for all the dogs and cats
Yep.
I'm going to own,
For all my
and then all
rats.
the money that I need in order to
For
support
pet care.
said hundreds of thousands of animals
And then I would donate the rest.
to myself.
To
For a car.
For a car.
And vet bills. I'll set up an account right away. Here's
Right.
$10,000 just in vet care over the next so and so
Let me
years.
prepay you guys.
Prepay $10,000.
You guys
You
have
can
like
get
a-
new
holy
locations,
shit.
but the whole thing is that I come here free.
Do you have one of those prepaid bet cards that I can
A
just
prepaid card.
Just reload it like a
50
prepaid
grand
Visa.
on it.
Green dot from Walmart.
I found these
It's
puppies.
called Vet Dot.
What's my remaining balance? $46,252. Thank you.
Hold on.
Hold on.
She's
Can
like,
I
Coming
have
already charged.
It's like an arcade card. You're like, I'm gonna have to do this in a few
How many
matches.
points
Give
do
me
I
a minute.
got?
how many tickets do I need for free organ removal?
Tumor removal?
So New Year's-
Cancer treatment is 40,000 tickets, please.
Ooh.
Ooh. 1,000
I only
tickets
have
short.
5,000.
Do you know if it's gonna lower anytime soon?
See, here's my
You gonna
complaint
get
about
new
arcades.
offers?
Oh,
That's my
yes.
complaint about arcades is that you have to spend like $30 goddamn to play for half an hour.
Yeah.
Or you gotta spend $200 to get tickets for $5.
You
Or something like a
have
$5 item,
You
yeah.
definitely have to
I
go
think
with
it's
a
funny
mindset.
with that, though.
To
I mean,
play.
Yeah.
Or
I
to
like-
get tickets.
I
You
like the
can't do
arcades
both.
where they're like you can get a PlayStation or an Xbox and shit from their tickets.
Round
yeah.
one.
But
Round
Yeah.
one over there, man. I love that
the
place.
only way to get that many tickets
Is
is
to
to spend
spend
like
that much.
$1,000.
$1,000.
Unless you're
Like,
like, I can
double
hit the
or triple
jackpot
of that.
every time.
And telling
Yeah.
the kids to not spend their tickets on anything else.
Anything else.
It's literally like, let's go have
And
family
you're
fun
like,
time.
but that Laffy
Drop
Taffy's right
100.
there.
At that point,
time-
the dad's sitting there like a fucking, like a drill instructor,
Yeah.
like, give me your card. You're cut off. Here, Jimmy, go and fucking win me tickets. And he's just watching, like, don't you spend that on them.
One of the last times we went to round one, there was a guy that was like, a master at the claw machines and like
Oh,
all the
yeah.
other games. Literally, he would like play them and like
Those
walk
guys have to
around
know 'em.
and play other games while he's waiting for the
Yeah.
prize to dispense. So then he'll walk around and grab all of his prize. He had an arm, like arms full, like of stuffed animals.
They have
Partner,
the
girlfriend
cutest stuffed animals. I only
was
have Nugget.
just. She was like, I can't carry
Yeah, I was
all."
like, whoever is their significant other is lucky. Fucking lucky.
Can I pay you $5
I know.
to win me one?
That's what we-
I was this close. I was this close to being like, will you play
Dude,
this
that's
for me?
that
This
that
is the
you
only
can
form
make
of
a
I will
living off
pay
of
to
that
win.
easily.
They pay to win.
That's my pay to win.
Loot box. He's a loot box.
Which is against their terms of service.
Oh,
Yep,
man.
he's a
There
loot
you
box. He's
know.
a human loot box. Got it.
So if I trip them and it breaks open, do I get to steal one and run away?
You're like,
I mean, it depends how quick you are, really.
I mean, it's on the floor, right?
Someone give
5
me a segue.
5 seconds.
no,
You're waiting the
Oh,
5
shit.
seconds, see if he picks it up
Right.
right now.
5-second rule.
He's like, wait.
What?
No, but like,
That's
Somebody else
order
has
of
him
food.
hog tied so he can't move at all. It's mine now.
Oh my
but the
god.
problem with like the new arcades and stuff is you definitely go in like either I'm going to use all of this on fun games and have an experience, or I'm going to get a ton of tickets.
Yeah, you can't. You
It's
can't
not
do
one or
or
the
the
other.
Yeah, you can't do both.
Because either way, you feel like you
You
missed out on
wasted it.
something.
Yeah, you feel like you wasted it.
But they have some good new games in there. They've got that like 4-player Halo one.
Oh man, they got Luigi's
Yeah.
Mansion in there.
Yeah,
There was
Fuck, that's
there was
cool.
one. There were All-Star Bowling down the street.
Oh, yeah.
Off of State.
Mhm.
The one that's right off of State
The one in
106th.
no,
The one in Draper.
The
that
one in
one's
Draper,
further
yeah.
down on State.
That one's way better.
That one has a 4-player fucking VR like a arcade thing, and I'm like, dude, that is so fucking
See,
cool.
that's
awesome.
like where you're
But
like,
it's
okay.
$8 to play.
But it's
Right.
$8 per fucking
Here's the
session,
thing,
and you're
too,
like, what
is-
the hell?
so if we
my-
want to play together, that's $16.
Yeah.
When my dad went on a business vacation years and years ago to Vegas, they had these big mech pods you could get into, and it was that kind of.
That just sounds awesome.
Yeah, and
Right?
it was
Give me
one-
my diva suit.
Yeah, it's like that, and they moved kind of like this as you were going around, but it had that kind of green line, kind of scan graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
But you'd pay like $15 to get in this thing and just play around.
Okay, I would pay $15 to
That
get in
sounds
there.
awesome.
Just
I
throw that
know,
out there.
worth
Hell
the
yeah.
money.
Not VR stuff. I'm in like,
Fucking
Yeah, because
mech-
you're like, and you can't see anyone,
Yes.
but you've got like all your switches and
amazing.
out of my way.
That's an arcade experience. You're like,
Fuck yeah.
okay, yeah.
I will
$15
pay.
done.
I would pay $25
Done.
for that. Just saying, I would do.
I mean,
that.
in
that is
Vegas,
amazing.
absolutely.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be 25.
We're gonna have to
Yes.
look for that shit.
What
If we
was
can afford it, though.
Yeah.
what was
We're
that
looking
ramen
unlikely
shop?
on that.
Which
aspect.
one?
The one we went to Schlossed at midnight.
Oh, that was the Noodle House.
Yeah.
Noodle House at Mandalay Bay.
They're open very late.
They are.
Fair. Oh, I mean, isn't everything in Vegas?
Most things.
The red light district.
That's
The
just
strip
that's just
never
Fremont
closed.
Street.
That's just Fremont.
That's just
The
Fremont.
strip, you know. There you go.
Yeah, man.
All right. Was there anything you guys wanted to bring up for conversation today? Jake, you look like you want to bring something.
No, I'm a part of this. I'm in here.
You're in this. Anything.
Pre-order bad.
Pre-order bad.
There we go.
DLC, depending on the kind of DLC it is.
There's one thing I do want to
is bad.
mention.
Okay, go ahead.
As much as I support and love the Borderlands games,
Love Borderlands.
they fucked some of their workers. Like, for instance, Claptrap was never paid for any of his voice acting.
What? I love Claptrap. He's my favorite.
That's why they don't have him in the third game, because they didn't want to pay him.
It's a new version. Yeah.
Oh, it's so it was.
It's somebody pretending
someone
to
else.
be that actor.
So
yeah, it's
it's
not
like
the
what they
same
did-
It's
guy.
not the same guy.
They
It's like
didn't pay the new guy either.
the thing is I have heard different on that one. I've seen articles and everything about that kind of stuff because they were receiving a lot of flack early on in development, saying that fuck it, what was his name? His name was he's a fucking famous dude. He played fucking Joel.
Claptrap.
No, the voice of Claptrap. I don't know.
Wait,
we'll
whoa.
we'll,
That
we'll
is
get this
his
figured
name,
out.
Claptrap.
Wait a minute, that's the same voice actor, Joel and
I
Claptrap?
believe so.
That would be.
He is He is like the
I don't know if I
king of
believe that.
voice acting.
It's a
He's
lot
great.
like
All right, so let's see.
Destiny 2 though, because
That's true.
they didn't have Kate Six's original voice actor.
Yeah, that's why they killed him off.
Yeah.
One thing though is I kind of wish they didn't name him Claptrap because it makes me think of a venereal diseased vagina.
But that's
Oh,
you're supposed
man.
to.
You're
'cause
supposed to,
He's
that's-
just a bug.
A dirty
And he
robot.
won't
But
go
just-
away.
Oh, okay, it was different.
Yep.
Okay, it's not the person I'm thinking of, so it's not the voice of Joel.
Oh.
The one I'm thinking of is who took over for Peter Dinklage as the voice of Ghost. That's who I was
the
thinking.
voice actor for Drake in
Yeah.
Uncharted.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's the same one as Joel.
That's crazy.
Same dude.
Whoa.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, voice actors are nuts.
They are. I would
Yeah.
love to get into voice acting.
This picture I have up here, if anyone sees, I am a huge critter. Ashley Jenkins, which is the
Mhm.
that's the voice actress for Ellie.
Oh, that's interesting.
Did you want me to point the camera towards you?
No, it's fine.
Well,
It's fine.
I mean-
I'm not gonna show. I have the Vox Machina shirt on. It's fine.
Yeah, but they must know how big of a dork you are with this giant poster
Yes,
up
I'm a
on the
huge.
wall.
You know, they
fucking nerd,
might have
okay?
an
I
inkling
am like a huge
of
Crystal Royal fan.
understanding.
You know,
I told him at the beginning I was a D&D player. Well, a tabletop player. I just didn't go into detail. But no, I have heard quite a bit about this stuff. The guy, so I think it was David Eddings was first. Oh, okay, there you go. That's who we're talking about right there. Ashley Jenkins, amazing voice actress. She also stars on Blind Spot, which is a live action. It's not actually voice acting.
Come visit
Yeah.
us in Utah. And
I would love to see the cast of Critical Role to come here. That'd be amazing. Sam Riegel, Liam O'Brien. I can name all of these guys. Yeah, Travis Willingham. He's one of my favorites.
he's my
Best
favorite.
friends with Joe Manganiello. Yeah, all the ladies out there who
Don't
have
forget
seen.
Mercer.
Oh yeah,
Of
Matt
course.
Mercer. You know.
McCree.
McCree. He's also the voice of almost every animated Leon Kennedy.
He's
in
Jotaro
Resident
in the English
He's
dub.
Jotaro in the English.
He has
dub.
one of the best fucking voices ever. Okay.
Hey, tabletop is a form of gaming. We're on topic.
Damn straight it is.
Damn
is.
it.
Subs
But
over
no,
dubs.
like I said, all the ladies out there who like Joe Manganiello from what is he in? What was he?
Magic Mike.
Magic Mike. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Magic Mike, the one that goes into the gas station and does his dance.
That's my favorite scene.
It's been
He
so
is married
long since
married
I've
to
seen it.
Sofia
Go
Vergara
with the water
and
like, the
had
Cheetos.
a argument with her on who had the basement. He won and turned it into a D&D dungeon.
That's pretty cool.
Love it.
That's pretty
Jocks Machina is that one between those two.
That's awesome.
Saying jocks can be nerds too. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, back on topic with Claptrap. But yes, no, I heard a lot about this. David Eddings.
Well, it wasn't just him too. It was some
he
of the
came out and
developers.
even said that he wasn't even offered the job
Yeah.
for Borderlands 3 and the
No.
in
No, he
Borderlands
wasn't.
3. Wasn't even offered it. As far as pay, I don't think I've heard of.
It was because of
pay
money.
shit.
It was because of pay.
I mean,
He was asking to be paid this time.
I mean,
Yep.
I will agree that the CEO of Gearbox did that whole thing. Excuse me, very very poorly.
Yeah,
he
it
handled
could've
it
been
very
hand-
poorly.
Yeah, it was poorly handled.
But I don't take a game like Borderlands 3 and say the entire company is that CEO.
But that, sure, but I
You know
don't
what I
know if I
mean?
necessarily want to support that type of business. That's the thing, is that as much as I want to support the people who invested all this time and energy to create this expansion to this beloved franchise, but I think that everybody deserves a piece of the pie.
I agree. I do agree. Everybody deserves to be to get their fair compensation. The voice actors, they work night and day perfecting these voices.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they'll sit in front of a mirror and just
tapes
do it
and tapes.
I
constantly.
mean, some of the
in
times
order
they
to
don't
get
even
it
meet
perfected.
each other until after they it's all said
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
done.
they do need their fair
Shrek.
compensation.
Yeah,
I agree.
Shrek. I think it was Shrek. If I remember correctly, none of them had actually met each other until after it was finished.
This is my swan.
Yeah.
Donkey.
So let's see.
Donkey.
I can barely see his name on this one, but it's
Jim
Jim
Ferronda.
Ferronda.
For
Faux Ronda.
For who?
Faux Ronda. Faux Ronda.
The Rondo of Foes.
Let's see. Does Jim
Cheat on Pam, The
Oh.
Office.
and No, it's no A
That's-
in the
Oh,
no first
hold on.
A.
I cannot read that for shit.
Yeah, FORONDA.
NDA. Okay.
We're all blind with glasses.
That's why I'm wearing
Too
them.
many video games.
Right.
Sitting too close.
I
to
did
my
not
screen.
realize that all three people on camera have glasses, and the only one not on camera does not.
That's why I felt left out, so I'm over here.
Oh,
Glasses,
whatever.
Glassless.
4 Claptrap.
I was gonna say Borderlands.
Get paid for
Clap.
the voice.
Nope, that's not how you
Culp.
spell cult. Clap trap. Clap trap.
Sounds so bad.
As
Here's
a Game
why.
Informer, I think that's very.
Game Informer.
Yeah, you know.
It's very biased.
I used to love Game Informer.
So did I.
But that was like 10 years ago.
I used
When
to
they had
only
really
get
cool
Game Informer
covers.
for the fan art.
Yeah,
that came in it. Oh, that was
totally.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
I miss that when things were good.
When the covers were all nice.
All
and-
fancy.
See, this is one of the things with media, though, that I don't like is how can you tell which
Sources.
of these sources are good
Yeah. It's,
just
you
from
check,
a quick glance?
you check those sources. That's why it takes so long.
You have to read all
Research
of
is ridiculous nowadays.
Yeah, it really is.
Here's why. Okay. Eurogamer, that's a good one. I know Eurogamer.
I do trust Eurogamer. Yep, I
okay.
insisted on getting paid for my performance, and all of a sudden they couldn't afford me. They didn't want to pay him.
Okay, sorry, I just did a little bit of a zoom in.
A zoom.
I couldn't afford him for Borderlands 3.
Couldn't afford him.
Yes,
Right,
they didn't
because
pay
he-
him for Borderlands
you know
3, but he
why?
hadn't done anything yet.
He's asking to be paid, and
Because
didn't
he
get paid last
wasn't-
time, therefore they
he
can't
wasn't
afford
in
it.
the first
that
two.
does not say that, though. The article does not say that he did not
It says,
get
I
paid for
insisted on
Borderlands 2.
getting paid for my performance. So that's saying that suggests that he was not being paid before.
It's not quite that suggesting.
Oh, yes,
I'm
it is.
saying what I'm thinking that is for what I'm taking away from that statement is they came to him and said, "Hey, do you want to come and reprise your role as Claptrap?" And he said, "Yes, pay
Look,
me this
It,
much."
it does if you
Says
And
can't.
they
Wow,
said, "No,
Eddings-
we'll
no.
pay you this much," which
No,
is way less.
it says, while Eddings has voiced Claptrap in all prior Borderlands games, he did so whilst also employed as a full-time employee of Gearbox, so he played Claptrap without drawing down additional payment for his voice work.
Additional payment because
Right.
that was
As
his job,
being
though.
a voice actor. No, it wasn't.
So he worked for
He
the
was a
company.
developer for Gearbox. His job was not to be the voice actor. He was the voice actor because
And he
just
wanted to get paid for his
he wanted to
voice.
be paid for his being a voice actor, which
Yeah.
is completely fair.
That is fair.
So
But he
got
wasn't,
the
he
job,
wasn't.
got
That's
paid
sadly
for
one of
what?
those gray areas because
Yeah.
the thing is Gearbox
As
can
an
hold
employee.
hold his
Yeah.
employment as that's a super bad gray area.
Well,
I see. I
and
didn't
I
know
think-
this. That's why we pulled it up.
Yeah.
I think it's
That's
gross
why I
of the
pulled it up.
company. I
That
think
is-
it's really
that is
gross
kind of
of the
shitty.
company
But
not
the thing
to
is that's
compensate.
another
It's not like
that's
it's
another
that's
reason
just
for
what
continuous
me.
happens.
raise
Yeah.
of what he's already being
Mhm.
paid. It's just an offshoot.
No,
of
it's just an
being paid
offshoot.
for
That's all he was
other work.
asking for.
That's
Yeah.
all he was
Yeah.
asking for.
He was like, "Hey, I'm
But
doing all of these
sadly,
things.
that's part of the reason why I believe I need to buy the game.
Is
You know
so
what I
they
mean?
can't-
That
Keep
is
Gearbox
not-
in.
But that's
But that
not
goes
what.
to lining
That's going to lining their
pockets.
pockets. That's not going to go to any of the workers that are
it
actually
still does go
developing
to
the
the
game.
workers still. I mean, a very small percentage, but still.
I mean,
But
space
not any.
stages and things
But the
like
more
that,
money
but-
they make off
It's
of this
the
game.
exact same way as how my taxes are paying for police officers.
Well, see, but this is
It's
the
the
thing,
exact kind of.
the more money we pay
situation.
for this is not going to affect how much money the employees are getting.
I agree.
That's the issue. Is that if in a good in a
If
in
they
a,
become
in a,
super
in an
successful
all
and
good
blows the
world,
fuck up,
and in an all good world where
They would
they
get
sell
their
more and like
equal share.
hey
Where
Yeah.
games are like Hollywood,
yeah.
where it's like, oh, well, this
They
title
where
blew up.
where their salary isn't a set number but a percentage.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
yes, that would be amazing.
In an ideal world,
But
Isn't that kind of like the indie game simulator
Yeah.
or something?
kind of, I think indie
Where
games
you
do
like,
this
yeah,
stuff.
and it's like you made a percentage.
Well,
Yeah.
the shitty thing with indie games is they're getting stuck in these
there are a lot of red tape areas.
yeah,
they
but
play-
not even just that, but like they get stuck in these situations where they're developing for so long, but they're not getting paid because they're developing,
yeah,
Mhm.
and no one's getting paid for this stuff.
yeah.
so
that's just all
Right.
them
they're
wanting to
all
do it.
after the profit and everything like that
The
after the
end
game is
game.
released.
Mhm.
They're going after that percentage, and so they just run out of money, and then
Yeah.
they can't do anything
Merchandise.
else, and then then it dies. But how can you sell merchandise for something that has never been out before?
Like
It's
I
an
said,
indie game.
it's a
if
business
it's an indie
card.
game that,
that
you
you
have
can wear.
never sent out.
Okay.
Depending on what it is, developer
Free
wise, character,
shirts.
I would, yeah.
Free shirts, no matter what the fuck it is, people want.
Yeah, that's fair.
T-shirt.
It's
banners.
Go
That's
back
so
to
that's
dirt
free
cheap.
shirts, but they're not getting.
Stickers?
They're not getting.
But
they're
it's
not getting.
dirt cheap to make them.
Yes,
in
but
that
they're not
quantity.
getting
it's
profit
still
at
a
that
red
point.
line.
Same with
If it's
stickers,
something
though.
like that, if
They're
it's an
cheap to
under, if they are going under
Mhm.
as an indie developer, because all of their money is going to be coming from their profits.
Right.
And say they did a Kickstarter campaign. Just we'll give this as an example. Say
Well, I
it
mean,
was
yeah.
say we as a 4-person team here decided to make a game. We
Mhm.
went on Kickstarter and we said, "Hey, this is how much we're wanting for our game. We'll release it this ish date." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Or at least an announcement.
yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. We'll announce further
Yeah.
and everything like that, and we reach our goal, and then the Kickstarter ends,
We've got
and we
the
have
nice
that money.
ukulele
We have that.
music.
We have that
We've
little
got
bit of
the
money,
little
right?
Back and
If
forth.
we then go through that developing process, run out of money, we're not going to spend more money on free T-shirts to give out.
Well, but you have to put
You know
that
what I
into
mean?
your business model. You have to put that into your business model.
Like,
Any
already
sort of
have-
But like,
advertisement.
what would that be though? Like, how would they get income to help supply them to get
That's
them
part
to
of the
finish
Kickstarter.
line?
That's part of the
Well,
Kickstarter.
Yeah,
Is
it's,
advertisement funds.
it's also
But
just
also at the
making
same
sure
time,
you've got a store almost.
Sponsors.
Yeah, you can get
Sponsors,
sponsors
Find a
too.
t-shirt
But
sponsor.
that's when you get people like EA going getting
Money
their
grubbing,
grubby little
yeah.
hands and making the game their stuff. You know what I
Because
mean?
I-
That's what they did with Andromeda.
No, I'm not saying
They said, "Oh,
Fair.
you want us
I'm not
to help
saying-
produce this? You want us to pay for this
I'm
stuff?"
not saying
You
like
want us to
that type of
market it.
sponsors, but say, hey, we're doing this new game. Would you give us you wanna give
Investors.
Investors.
Well, I mean, still,
Sort of.
like Hanes could be a good sponsor
Yeah.
because everybody
We'll
knows the
use
Hanes
your
brand.
shirts. Everyone loves Hanes.
Like you have
And we'll
their,
put our
in
logo
their
on
ad
it.
and shit like that.
Yeah.
something like
And
that.
then you
I
get
mean,
50% of profits each.
I mean,
or whatever.
yeah. I mean, I can see stuff like that, but like
But even
it's
some of them are willing
even
to
then
donate
it's
a
kind of
certain amount.
hard. You
Well,
know what I
and
mean? To do that kind of
I
shit.
know a lot of marketplaces now for merchandise for these things. You can just give them designs without
Mhm.
having to pay anything, and they are
They
ordered
print them,
based
yeah.
on how many you
Oh
receive.
yeah, what's the website? My friend's on it.
Redbubble does it.
Yeah, Redbubble, and there's
So,
another one.
you
too.
get a certain
Spree
amount.
Picky.
It's hey, we're making this game. Here's a shirt idea that we put up. It's got the logo on it and one of the characters.
Yeah, you
if
buy it,
if 100
and
people
funds
buy it,
Mhm.
then they will send them out,
Mm-hmm.
but only after a certain mark
so
has
it's
been
like
hit.
it's
So
kind of
if
Kickstarter,
only
too.
50
Only if it's
people want to
profitable.
buy it,
Yeah, but then if
but
only,
their goal is 100,
But
then
that's
those 50
Redbubble.
people get their money back.
yeah,
Okay,
But
so it's like a failed Kickstarter. If a Kickstarter fails
Yeah.
and then you go, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, never mind," Kickstarter then sends the money back out to
but
the
Yeah.
sponsor.
it's definitely
Kickstarter
that
doesn't
you
take your money until it's fully funded, and
Yeah.
then it sets a date for it to be
You just
taken.
pledge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
you
it.
pledge a certain
You
amount.
say you will pay for it, but you don't actually
Yeah.
give any money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
But
if
I
you
think
don't have
that
money
that's the
account, then you
only
don't
way
get
to really
That's all,
solve
yeah.
that and how everybody's going to get a piece of the pie is by expanding as far as that goes.
Okay, so we're getting to the point of everybody needs to become an indie developer, and no publishers need to be involved in anything.
But
No
the thing with-
creators.
write it in
Oh my
Java and put it on ATMs.
Everybody get
No.
ready for Python.
Right.
And the thing too is with Redbubble, you don't need a minimum purchase. They literally will make
You just
it
get a
if
ton-
it
yeah.
gets purchased.
Yeah, you just get a smaller percentage, but the
Yeah.
more that are made, you get a bigger percentage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that would be a good way of being like, hey, we have this Kickstarter, but we also have this to get extra funding. They'll get their shirt no matter fucking what, whether it's developed, made, or not.
It's like,
They
oh, it's this
still
really
get
cool
it.
game that was being made. Unfortunately, it didn't get made,
Yeah.
but it's
But yeah, I still got
They're the
that bit.
hipsters
I still
at that
got
point
shirt.
with the
It's my
with
fire.
the cool.
It's
the,
my Firefly shirt. It's not gonna
Oh,
be
no.
back, but
It's
I
never
have
gonna
it.
finish.
they have the only Firefly shirt that says Firefly Season 2 coming soon. Oh,
I
sorry
now have
guys.
to develop a shirt like that now, just like raffle it off.
Oh no.
Hi, baby.
What have I started?
I know, right?
Oh,
Just
Firefly, I
one.
love you.
What have I done?
Right? No, I got it.
But I'm
well,
serious. T-shirts and stickers always sell.
Oh, she wants you.
It's the currency of the internet.
It's the currency of the
It
internet.
is. It really is.
I mean, that's why Homestar Runner is still around. Is t-shirts.
Yeah.
I
It's because of
love
t-shirts.
Homestar Runner.
Yeah.
It
He's
literally, they are funded by T-shirt sales.
They fucking made a Trogdor board game. now.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Fucking Trogdor.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
did their own thing on the corner of the internet
Stop
until
it.
someone came
Until-
along and was like,
I
"What
like
is
this."
this? What have you
I
done
actually
with this
follow the
boxing
company.
man glove?
I actually follow the company that does stuff like that. It's called Wormwood Gaming. They do dice trays, and they have Trogdor.
That is amazing.
They're the ones that
Oh
Trogdor,
my
I believe.
God.
I think. I don't know. They don't really make it clear in their weird vlog videos. Their vlog videos are super entertaining. It's fun. They're a big sponsor of Critical Role. That's where I found them from, and I want their stuff. They have they go to the gaming cons and stuff like that. They have a really cool. Here, I'll actually show you real quick. It's a really, really cool fucking gaming table that I wish I had the money to buy.
I know, right?
We're just hearing Arrow fucking drinking water now. Oh, that was attractive on camera.
Oh man, you get used to it.
Well, I mean,
Nothing you ever do will look okay on camera.
Cover your eyes, little ones. No one should see this.
Like eating spicy peppers.
Yeah.
Never looks good on camera.
Wormwood gaming.
She love you.
Did she go over to you?
Yeah.
All right.
They're friends now.
They're friends forever.
Okay.
Prophecy gaming table.
Yes, it is the Prophecy gaming table.
I want that table.
The prophecy
So-
has been.
I would love to be able to show this on the screen, but I can't due to YouTube.
Copyright.
YouTube
and,
copyright stuff. And I also need to mute the damn thing.
That's
So-
also you just find it on Facebook instead because I
mean-
see their ad on Facebook all the
Oh
time.
yeah, they're out on Facebook all the time. But this is doing a deep dive of what their table is and how kind of like how.
So
they
this is
build
this.
it and
I
shit.
think this is the main problem for stuff
Yeah.
like that is that we're so used to buying things that are super shitty from China.
God.
The handcrafted things like aren't
Actual carpenters,
Yeah.
woodworkers, metal workers, and stuff like that.
Any,
that are
like,
doing these things, and someone goes up to them and is like, "Hey, I want this bookshelf that's handmade.
give it to you for
looks fucking
$20.
amazing." And it's like I want it for fairly cheap, and they're like, "Okay, for fairly cheap, I can get some cheap wood and everything like that. $500." And they're like, "What? No, I want it for like 30. Go to IKEA, dude."
Right.
As a
Go to
person who
IKEA.
crochets, I undersell myself as
So-
it is, and I still get people complaining.
I'm the same way with my maps.
Yep.
Because I do the fantasy map drawings.
Yep.
I have not sold a single one because I think people think my shit's too expensive. But I'm doing it for dirt fucking cheap because
Exactly.
of how long it takes me to do these damn maps.
Exactly.
So with these guys, this little
Weird.
cork thing comes in and out.
That's
They
cool.
can put it in and out. And what it does is in the middle, you have these removable wood tiles. And then you
That's
turn it,
amazing.
and it sinks down into
Yeah,
the
that's
thing.
right, because it makes the different
See, like
levels,
that?
right? It makes the different levels.
Not just different levels, it just makes one.
The best accessory.
It has
the drink
a
hole.
drink holder, a dice holder. They have their own DM screen that they have created. Like, look at this kind of stuff, and it's
That's
all
really
magnetic,
cool.
and you can just remove it and place it wherever the hell you want.
It's really cool.
And it's just made for gaming. You want to
Oh, and you
fucking
can even
keep it
cover it up as a
daily
table.
risk game that's going on for fucking years? Boom, you hide that
Shit
shit.
is weak.
You know what I mean? Like, you sink it down a little bit, and you put the covers over the top of it. This is the kind of gaming
cool.
table I want. Except I
Yeah.
have this one. I mean, this one is cool.
It does what its intended purpose.
I built it
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
But I need this.
Here we
Oh,
go,
no.
full circle.
This is a want. For sure, a want and not a need.
Desire.
Oh, man.
I mean, one thing is if we had, I mean, it won't be as fancy as this one is, but we can make our own sunken in tabletop like
Oh, we
this
could.
and then have our own top. So if we
Yeah,
want
I've always wanted to do.
And then just magnets,
Like-
you know.
puzzles protected from your pets.
Yeah.
Cats.
Right.
But
I wanted
then
to
you
do
just cover
something
the
like
top.
that too with D&D specifically, or like other tabletop games, and have a TV inlaid on the
Oh,
actual,
yeah.
in the table. That way, you just plug in your HDMI cord and boom, you have a fucking map.
Yeah.
That is
A lot of
amazingly
people
detailed.
do those.
Yeah,
a
a lot
lot
of people do
do
those.
those. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, this is the Wormwood Prophecy.
Really,
it's
really
one of the ones that
amazing.
I would really love to have.
What's funny is it reminds me of the tabletop simulator table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It does,
it's
absolutely.
100%. I have Tabletop Simulator on Steam too.
It's so good.
It's
Never
a good
used
one.
it, but
No,
I
yeah,
mean,
but I
I've
got
never
it.
used it. The one that I've used that is similar is Roll20.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
use
yeah.
Roll20.
Everyone knows Roll20.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, all right. Well,
Same.
I think that's a good stopping point. Thank you all for for joining me today. It was a good conversation.
It was a
I really
pleasure.
appreciate it, guys.
Do you want to end it or need to end it?
All right. That's where. Yeah, we're gonna end it there.
It's full circle.
Full
I
circle.
can't do them. They don't have any edges.
All right, guys. Good night.